Haley Beth, what's going on, my love? How are you?
What's up,
Hey,
party
look.
people?
What's up, man? How you doing? That was quick.
Well,
I hadn't said
here we
anything
are.
yet. What are
Here
you
I
doing
am.
here?
What are you doing here?
What do you want?
Oh, man.
What's
You ready
happening,
for a good
brother?
show?
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna have a ball, one
Man.
way or the other. How about you?
Yeah?
I'm waiting on the glitches, man. That was way too
Not too
easy.
pretty.
What's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing all right.
Thank you,
You
Haley Beth.
did right on, Haley. That's awesome. No, that's perfect. I just was messing with chat a little bit, Haley. Usually there's some kind of glitchiness going on that we got to deal with.
I know,
What's going
right?
on, homie? How are you today?
Man. Joshua Maddock, what's up, dude? You having some burritos, homie? How you been?
What's up, Josh? Hey, how's your little
I,
one, man?
Man, she is good. She
Right on.
is propped up on the couch, and she's got a splint up to her knee, and Daddy has been hopping for her for the last couple of days, so I am exhausted AF.
I wondered how
Oh
that was
my.
going. That's why I hadn't called you,
Yes,
man. I figured you
yes.
had your hands full. If there's anybody on the planet that knows about an ankle injury, it might
Man.
be your boy here. I might know something
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. Glad you're good,
Well,
Josh. Yeah, we don't know. We have an appointment Friday and with a ortho, and we'll find out more. That's basically all I
heard
know at the
that.
time being. What up, Seb?
Pain good to go. We in reasonable realms now. Pain,
What's that?
the pain. Is she in a lot of pain?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, she's actually in really good spirits. Been chilling. Acting normal aside from like me picking her up and taking her everywhere and waiting on her hand and foot. And I bought us some walkie-talkies so that, if I'm like in my painting studio in the
That's
office
awesome.
area and she's there in the house, she can get, and the first day, oh my gosh. She thought they were just for conversation, and I'm like, baby, I am trying to work. I love you, but you can't come and get me if you need anything. And that's what these are for. But she's just like,
That's
hi,
awesome.
Daddy, what's up? Yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
is. It really
There
is.
you go. Make something good out
It
of it.
really
That's
is.
funny. How you doing,
It
Seb?
is.
Good to see everybody. Thanks for stopping in. She'd be like,
Yes,
yo,
Josh.
that's funny. Yeah, radio check.
Lofty.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
man, we got somebody cool coming on today. We got Kris Major coming on. As you know, she's a crochet artist.
Hell yes.
She also does a lot of good stuff for other people, which is why
What up,
she's going to
Shane?
be on the show. She's not going to be on the show because she's a crochet artist. She's going to be on the show because she's an awesome person and happens to be an awesome crochet artist. Yeah.
That's usually how it works here.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like that
It's not a bad thing.
that hasn't disseminated yet. That there's two factors to be
Yeah.
on the show. Two, one, you got to be serious about what you do. Two, you got to be willing to help other
Uh-huh.
people do it. So, if there's not some obvious evidence of you out there helping other people, and it looks a lot like you're just repping yourself, probably not going to make it on the show. Just a thought.
Nah, you can do that on your own.
Right. You don't need. That's the point. You don't need to be here. So, right on. So, do you have any
Oh,
announcements?
man.
Anything going on? You got anybody on your show Thursday night?
I'm gonna have somebody on Thursday. We'll talk about that at some point. I got
Alright.
a couple people. It might be. We'll see.
Okay.
And
Well, is it a
other
headache
than
for
that,
you yet?
man, I just been taking care of the kid. Nah, not yet.
Man, I can't wait until it is.
But I can't wait until. Well, it's different enough from your show and the way that we approach it on mine that, like, like you do like the multiple hours of interviewing before the show. We don't do that for the window.
Right.
If somebody doesn't show or something goes awry, we can always just grab somebody out of the audience, which we've done multiple times now. So that takes a lot of stress out. I think
Well,
we did
how
really
could I make
well
it more
in taking
stressful
some of
for
the
you?
stressor points out.
Since you don't have enough going on, how could I make that process more stressful for you?
Well, let's see here.
If I were in the audience and I wanted
You
to
could
be
have
on the
more
window
people.
and I wanted to be a real asshole about it, how would I go about that?
You would probably hit me up multiple times, asking me for the same thing over and over again. And you would even probably do it in the chat, and that's the worst place to ask me to be in the window. Usually, if you want it,
I'm trying to help y'all. I'm trying to help y'all get on the window now.
There you go. There you go. Let's see here. It kind of goes back to what you were saying. If you're not a creator, you're probably not going to be on. Now, here's the other thing. We don't do as much homework for the window, so it's not always necessarily somebody who's doing leaps and bounds for all of society. They're just an interesting creator that we found and snatched up. So you won't always get somebody that's like, I do this for all of humanity. But that's the difference in that. But again, you ask, hey, what's up, Techie?
What's up, Techie?
It's kind of like you ask, you know, about the stressful part. Like that's some of the stressful things that you have for this show, and that we did away with for the window. So
yeah.
Shane Scares here. Actually, he's a new person I just started following.
Who's that?
He's a really good artist. You guys make sure to follow him.
Scare?
Shane Scare. He's here in the chat right now. I just just came across him here recently. Good dude. Yeah. Good stuff.
I mean, I don't know him personally.
You could tell me about crypto. No, Italo, I do not want a window about crypto. What's that? I'm sorry, dude.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know the guy personally, but I know that he does do some cool work. I have seen his work. Shane Scare.
Yeah. I like I said, I just came upon him, and what up, Chip?
So here's your quick tour.
Hey, no problem, Shane. Thanks for being here.
Eve's Artistry, Santiago Art, Dead Making Art, Eric the Airbrush Artist, Project Zero Art for those three, Tasha Bushman's daughter for that one, SA Artistry's over here, Dead Making Art, Natasha Art, Crimson Rose, and there's some more to come up here too. That's also a Project Zero over there, and there's more to come, y'all. So anyway, we got that's another thing we got to figure out is how to make more room, or we might have to have like 2 different camera places that we do stuff from, so that we got enough room for people's stuff to be seen. We're running out of room, dude. I know that you have a stack of art as well. What you been doing with it? That's a question for you, Chad.
Sorry, I was answering people in the chat. Yeah, well, I was answering people in the chat. Sorry, man.
All right, we'll skip it.
I've been hanging some of it in my office.
Right on.
I've been hanging some of it. Are you talking about the art that's been coming to me? Yes.
Yeah, I know you've been getting a lot of art.
I have been hanging some in my office. I have been, I've been getting a lot of Doty art as well, and I have been sending that over to him, and I'm hoping to get some skins back real quick on a bunch of stuff that some other people sent, like. Oh my gosh, Lynn's Creative and Chip, and there's a ton of folks. So we're in the middle of that.
I know you also got some personal art for you from like Burnt Diva, and I think some other people sent some stuff too. So you probably got a whole story.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's actually when you first asked me. Yeah, when you first asked me the question, it took me a minute to respond. I was actually answering to Tasha Bushman's daughter, and she was saying, "I hope you got the picture." And I was in the process of trying to message. I got to go hit my PO box because I know there's several things that have to be over there. I got one coming from Chip 76. Man,
Yeah, I got to get a bunch of frames made, or go buy some frames, or steal some frames, or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got a bunch of art.
That is something I've got to do. Frames. Yes, that's one of my major things. So
get our ski masks, go to the frame shop. Those things aren't cheap, man.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Oh my gosh.
I heard that. Well, yeah, man. I have been running like crazy myself.
What up, Eric?
Trying to get caught up.
Yeah.
You know, there's always something going on. So I too have to go by my PO box. I haven't been there since last week. So if anybody sent anything during that time,
I haven't either.
I hadn't got it yet. So we're in the same boat, man.
I'm still trying to answer people back on here, much less hit the PO box.
Right. I got you. Is anybody seeing Kris Major in the chat? Because she's the guest today, and of course, maybe one of us should probably send her an invitation to come by. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Let me see if I can do that real quick.
Italo sent one of us a live hen, so we better go check the PO box.
A live hen? I'm pretty sure mine didn't make it then.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's probably clucked over there.
I heard that. Well, hopefully Kris will show up at some point. If not, it'll be a short show, and we'll both get to take a little rest break. Because we're not just going to pull somebody up.
Dude,
we're going to just go straight into a flow state.
Right? Oh, hell yeah. I'm into that, dude. I'm into that. What up, SA?
What up, SA?
Dude, while we're waiting to see if she comes in here in a second, I used all of those techniques in tandem that we were talking about for the finish of this, and was detailing until about 4-something in the morning. Well, one of us is froze up, buddy. One or both of us. Hi, Kris.
Sorry, I was knocking out a listing real quick.
Oh, you're good.
Right on.
There you are.
On.
Trying.
Well, we were thinking maybe we were going to have a short show today.
No such luck. I am long-winded. Long-winded. You found that out yesterday. I still feel bad for you.
No. Believe it or not, and maybe you can testify to this. How long did we talk yesterday? 4 hours. And then we'll do a show tonight that's a couple hours. And then the notes and all that. So there's an entire day's work just into 1 2-hour show. Which is why we only do one a week.
That's just for that part.
Yeah, that's just for that part.
That's not making any content for it. That's not,
Right, that's not coming up with any concepts.
That's just for part of it.
Which is awesome, which is why now that first part of the show, we shrink down and we don't do it anymore. We just do the guest. Saves a lot of time.
We shrink down and just don't do it anymore.
Right. So everybody, the person that you see in the box right here is my friend Kris Major. And Kris is an incredible human being. Usually I do these kind of introductions. We brought her up, and we're going to talk about her while she's in the box this time. Because she usually is always loving on other people, so we're going to love on her a little bit today. So the reason I wanted to have Kris on is multifaceted. First of all, anybody that hasn't noticed, the folks that are on the show this month are people that inspire me personally. It still applies, but the people that I had scheduled for the last day of the month are no longer doing the last day of the month. So they'll be next month. But they're still inspirational. It's all right. So Kris here, however, has spent a good deal of her life in public service. It's obvious that she is into helping folks. If you've ever seen her motivational content, it's amazing. Or maybe it would be called inspirational. Maybe it would just be called kind of common sense content. I'm not sure. But the reality is she makes really cool stuff crocheting, but she also is a really smart lady. So I really appreciate you being here, Kris. And I know that you don't necessarily feel as comfortable when people are showering you with compliments and stuff like that too. So I'm going to try not to embarrass you because I know what that feels like. So if it's all right, I'm going to bring you into the big box. And then, what is on your shirt? Is that a forest? Oh, it's a skull with a forest on it.
It's a skull.
I like
That
the
is dope.
birds. It made me think of
like
Edgar Allan Poe like really bad. So I have.
That is awesome. Chad, I know, likes that.
I know.
I immediately thought, yeah. I immediately thought of the painting that I have of Bob Not So Ross that is an Edgar Allan Poe painting. So it's funny you said that. I love it.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Another amazing artist, by the way.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Ross. So we had a great conversation from my perspective yesterday, Kris. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you calling me and chatting with me. And I learned quite a bit about you that I didn't know. And surprisingly, it was all good. Usually you find out some things about people that, you know, it might be a little cringy, but you don't have any cringiness that I could.
You cringed once.
Well, yeah, but we're not going to talk about that. That's a private matter, and who you choose to, you know, is not my business. No, I'm teasing. We're just
I'm over
kidding,
here
y'all.
agreeing. I wasn't even listening. I didn't know.
We're just trying to get you laugh.
You know. Oh, good
So,
thing.
out of the gates here, one of the things that was so endearing about you to me has nothing to do with your skill set or anything. It's that my mother knits, my grandmother, her mom, my mom's mom was a crocheter, knitter, macrame, made all kinds of cool stuff like that. And I can remember as a little 7 or 8 year old kid, her teaching me how to make a little macrame owl and trying to figure out with mom all the different kinds of knitting techniques and knots, and then the crocheting with the hooks and the whatevers. So there's a part of me that every time I go by your page, I'm like, oh man, you know, it's like a nostalgic kind of thing, right? But then you go to the whole next level, and my grandmother was making like coasters. You know what I'm saying?
I got coasters.
And you make like witches' hats with stuff on them, and chickens and turkeys and pumpkins and all kinds of amazing stuff, which you can find, by the way, if you go to my bio and hit my link tree and go down, you can find Kris Major's Etsy page. And it will be there until she tells me to take it off. So feel free to go check that out right now as we speak. But I also am struck by, like I said, you know, I grew up around people that did that kind of thing. And there were some cool little snowmen and all kinds of different crafty stuff. But in my mind, anyway, you take it to a whole nother level. And so start us out maybe by just telling us, for those that don't know, what is crochet, and you know, what is crochet itself, and maybe a little bit relative to knitting or macrame or whatever.
Oh, we're a unique species. We are. We are commonly, I'll bring this one out for us, get us a fun laugh here, but we are commonly referred to as hookers, although there are some of the older generation get real touchy about that. I think it's funny and it's worth laughing. We use a hook and you make a series of knots. This is what I'm working on for you, by the way. We're getting there. But
holy cow, you did all that since last night?
I couldn't sleep. So, yeah. And then, so I've got that going. This is going to be a real fun hat. So, quirky. I like quirky. I can do the simple. I can do the blankets. It's a series of knots made with yarn. Yarn is a whole bunch of different mediums. If you're animal friendly, you can avoid anything to do with that. If you are environmentally conscious, they actually even have a yarn that you can purchase solely that is environmentally conscious as well as animal friendly. It's harder to find, but it can be done. So there's just a lot out there. And since getting on TikTok, I've learned a lot I didn't know. I did not know. And there are some really wild people on here. And I never thought, I mean, this is your grandma's thing, grandma's crochet. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of like, I embrace it. I'm in my 40s. I embrace it already. I'll take it. But I mean, some of what I do is definitely not something that grandma would appreciate, like, or want in her home. So
well, that's the thing, right? That's what's cool about it. And I was trying to figure out a way. You did it way better than I could have. I was trying to figure out a way to say, the nostalgic part of it is cool and all that, but your thing is different, and isn't the nostalgia that's so cool. It's like you took it to a new evolution or something.
New generation of people's embraced it, and it surprised me the amount of people that are far younger than me. I know some teenagers that have asked, how do you do that? Can you help me do this? Sure. I had a lady ask me. I made that video about the heads that I use to display my products. It also helps me sew, because I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to put it, and I can't wear it and sew it. And my son is absolutely not going to wear these, so I needed a head, so I made it work. And she didn't know how that came to be, so I did a video to show her exactly what I used, the materials I used. Got a hold of her on the backside of TikTok, and gave her the details, because I know it can be a little hinky about product names and labels and things. But if she wanted exactly what I had, I made sure she had what she needed to do it. Works for me, but we share on here. I don't hang out with people that are nasty. So if you're not nice and willing to share what you know and what you
Amen.
better for somebody, then you're just not my cup of tea, which is why I love you guys. The list of folks coming through and in and out of here, it's immense. I can name people for days, it seems like, that I've just met through here. And I don't know anybody in person, not one. Doesn't matter. They're just amazing. I've even met some of the. I know. I was surprised. I thought you two had met for sure. I even had what I consider a crochet famous person to me on TikTok. She reached out over one of hers that I'm actually the. What is it? The one I'm doing, the bleeding tooth, the mushroom cap hat that's like super retro. That she reached out to me and came in my live, and I fangirled like a 12-year-old.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, somebody you respect. That's cool.
Well, she really came out swinging. And you guys know, you both work with wood. You guys do things with wood that is not, can I make a table? Yeah. Can I make a chair? Yeah. Can I fix it? Sure can. But I want to make a table that looks like a mouth or something, or a chair that's a hand that's carved that you're sitting in. Those are simple still too, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Well, hold, if you don't mind, the piece that you're working on. If anybody's seen the movie A Christmas Story, my wife and I, we have a little list of things. I'll share something with you about my personal life. You already know this, Kris, but my wife and I have a little list of things. And they're things that we would like to find somewhere if we could, that we, one of them was a type of beer that I drank in Germany years ago, and we actually found it a couple of years ago. But one of the things on that list was the hat that the little brother wore in A Christmas Story. You're going to shoot your eye out, that one, Ralphie, the Christmas Story? Well, the little brother in that story wears a hat that looks exactly like the one she is creating. I sent her a picture of the hat last night about the time we got off the phone, and that's what she's already done. So I don't know if anybody else cares, but I'm super excited because I'm going to have the hat from the little brother on The Christmas Story, and I'm going to wear that shit in the summertime. I don't care. It's awesome.
Are you gonna lick a frozen pole? And if so, please do it live.
That wasn't his brother. That was his friend.
I know.
That was a friend. That
I know,
wasn't
but I
little
still
brother.
want you to do that live.
Well, that's you and Gary's territory there, man. That's more you and Gary style kind of thing. You might be able to get Gary
probably
in
talk
on
me
that.
into it too.
Did you get my Gary message earlier I left you today? I left you a little voice message mixed in with all those other messages in the moderators. You probably didn't listen to them all. If you didn't, you didn't hear it.
I did. I'm gonna have to. There were so many funny things on there. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it now. Y'all were killing me.
Oh man. So anyway, you and Gary sort that out. Chad's like, wait.
Sorry, I
a minute,
sent you guys the human suit for essay. Sorry, I sent that to you guys on accident.
I love that. I love that. That was accidentally. You accidentally sent that. So we have a different app that we use that we have the moderators for this show are in a group on, and I could tell you it's hilarious. So
Yes.
she started last night after dark, and now she already has a dang hat. Apparently, she also doesn't sleep. So crochet is a series of knots. Well, isn't macrame a series of knots? Isn't knitting a series of knots? They just don't use hooks.
Knitting's a bit of a different animal. They lie. So y'all know they lie on Temu,
They lie.
Amazon,
Liars.
all of them. You cannot recreate this with a machine. Can't be done. You can mimic it with a form of knit that appears to be crochet, but these oh my goodness. And they are mass producing things and calling them hand done crochet. It's not possible. And when we got a hold of it, a couple of us got a look at some of it and really got into it. It's sewn together with thread. It's made with a machine. It's not handmade, and it's so infuriating because they're sitting there making it $5 items that cost more than that just to purchase the yarn to make it. So they're really undercut. They lie. Ooh, I don't like liars. Ooh, I don't like it. And mass ones bother the ever loving out
Sounds
of
like
me.
the.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's not happening anymore, though. I mean, they'll do it and tell you paintings are real and they're not, and wood items, and then you get your hands on it and it's some kind of a piece of plastic covering, garbage wood that's particle board, and I've been a victim of those tables.
Hey, don't out me here, Kris. Don't out me here, Kris. Come on.
That's funny.
No, it's there's a lot of different things to do. I know knit. I'm not good at it. There are machines out there that can do it. Not knocking it. Go for it. Do what you do. I found I like this. The things that I make are a bit more durable. You can rough with them a little bit. You can wear them a little bit harder, and depending on, you can even salvage some of it. So if it gets a tear or a pull, so it's nice. I don't know. It's weird. I like it. It's not for everybody, but it's kept me sane for a long time.
You said it helped you stop doing something, actually.
I haven't smoked cigarettes in 3 years.
That's amazing.
I want
That's
to
great.
some days, and instead I pick up a hook and hold on to that, and I will just zone out with a new pattern. I mean, it's rough, but I don't know. Some people switch over from smoking to vaping, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't see the point. I didn't understand why put one thing in your mouth and just put something different. So I was like, hit the hobby.
I did the step down thing. My father sent me, when they first came out with the vape pens, they had the kind that you could screw a filter on, and it had like lower and lower and lower dosages. So I used like the high dose for a week, and then the next one, then the next one, and after about a month I just quit using it totally. So I didn't have the crocheting might have saved me a month or two.
Mm-hmm. It might have. It's different for everybody, and it was a want. My dad got real sick a few years ago, and I was still doing that at that time, and that was one of the things he never told me I had to or anything like that, but I just remember him he'd be sad, Kris,
Yeah.
I wish you wouldn't. And that's all he'd say. And then I'd go outside and do what I did. And, I always cleaned up my mess. My mom does. So she always taught me to be respectful about it. You don't do it in people's cars. You don't blow it in their face. You be polite. If you're going to be gross, be polite, gross, I guess.
Right.
Right. I kept it polite. But I mean, I'll tell you, it's weird. I can sniff my hair. I miss that. I miss that. I smell my shampoo. I don't smell smoke. And when I start missing it, I remind myself of that. And I don't have to worry about my clothes or my projects. I have a girlfriend who makes crochet. Sometimes we spend an afternoon with a pot of coffee and a crochet project and chit chat. And I have to air my stuff out after being near her. And I mean, if it's something I'm keeping here, it's one thing. I don't think I could in good conscience send something to somebody that smells.
Right. Right.
It's my big word of the day. It smells yucky.
But so obviously crocheting, what you're describing, is very similar to what I've heard painters describe, or what I feel when I'm doing the woodworking thing in the shop, or any other pursuit, you might say. You kind of get lost in it, and it takes your brain to that flow state kind of place. So if I wanted to start crocheting, let's say that I was watching and I picked this up on the Y-tubes 3 months from now when somebody else watches it, but I want to start, I want to get into crocheting. So first thing I need to do is what?
Embrace your inner hooker. I mean, you gotta get a hook.
So you need a hook.
Yeah, they joke.
Just one?
No. Oh, no. I have got dozens and dozens, and then I have some with little characters on top because I don't know, it's supposed to make it fun. I've got some with beads that make it easier on your hands. This one's got a grip. I have ones that are just straight metal. There are some people out there that pop them out for $200 a hook plus that are wood. So there's that for you. They're wooden.
Wow.
They're wooden hold handles, and then they put the metal hook inside. And they'll have all kinds of hand-carved pieces. And there's a lady that just did the fiber show up in Worcester, Ohio. Some of those hooks go for close to $200 a pop.
Okay. So let's say I was a poor kid that came from the trailer park, which
go to Walmart.
I am. How would I get started crocheting if on a budget? If I just wanted to kind of try it out.
Honestly, if you got a Joann, if you're not there, Joann Fabrics, Walmart, Michaels, Hobby Lobby, depending on your comfort level, they all offer a lot of, in the United States, let me clarify, for anybody outside of the U.S., this is not necessarily going to apply. I understand. I've just recently learned you have a different set of rules. I'm sorry.
Right.
We have acrylics that we're allowed to use here, and acrylics are huge in the U.S. Acrylic is not, it's a man-made fiber. Is how it was explained to me. And because of that, it can be mass produced in multitudes of colors. They come in these big old bunches here. And, something like this is less than $3. So you need a handful of
so that would be $3.
Mm-hmm. Handful of color, $3 a piece, depending on how many colors you want. You can get a hook. You can go the cheapest route possible. You can get them for less than $2. And that's the beginning, because everything else.
So how many would you need? Like if I wanted to make a hat like you're making, how many hooks would I need?
Well, I'm using one hook, but I'm using 4 colors for you. And then I had 2 choices. Now I've gotten a little bit fancy. So when I do the pom-pom at the end, I have a pom-pom maker. I don't have to use a piece of cut up cardboard. I used to use the old ding-dong box, literally ding-dongs. So I would use a box and you make like a horseshoe shape and you have 2 of those. And then I would wrap the yarn around that and cut it. You use what you got. We're pretty creative in the Y-tube. When you don't know what to do, those folks out there are creative.
Heard that. Is there anybody that does lessons or anything like that?
A lot of them are on here. There's a couple on here. There's a really sweet girl named Julia. She does them. I don't, simply because I don't think I'm long-winded and I don't always stick to the point. So I'm not really good. I'm better to do in person. Now my girlfriend I worked with, we sat down and I helped her in person. She got stuck on a couple of different stitches and it was easy because I could get right there and see her hands, and it's gross is this going to sound for those who don't like that whole lovey stuff, but remember the movie Ghost, the pottery scene? It's almost like that. If I can get right behind you, put my hands on yours, I know what you're doing. It's muscle memory for me. I don't think
I just had a Patrick Swayze vibe.
I promise.
Oh my God.
Chad, my man. Look at him. There he goes.
Here it is.
So for this other portion of things, we the crochet is part of it, but you also, to me, and we talked about this, maybe philosophy is the wrong word, but you kind of have a way, a Tao, for lack of a better way, a way of going about things. And I admire it. I have a lot of respect for it. That's actually the part that made me interested in wanting to have you on the show and have a conversation and all that. The crocheting is really cool. Don't get me wrong. It's art and it's wonderful.
Oh,
But the thing that actually makes me notice, folks, is how they treat people. And if you're an amazing artist and you treat people like shit, I don't really care that you're an amazing artist, to be honest with you. It doesn't really have the same impact. Whereas if you are someone who does really amazing work and is dedicated to your craft, but you also, by the way, are into helping other people, and that sort of thing. Now we're getting somewhere, right? And that is all kinds of Kris Major. So we don't want to go too much into your past, just because I feel like that there's some stories.
being a hooker was the nicest thing I've ever done.
You're awesome, Kris.
Listen,
I feel like there are some things that if we talk about them, then it takes away from other things, and that's very vague. But everybody, what I'm trying to say is everybody doesn't come on the show and just tell their whole past on the show. That ain't what it's about. That's not what we're here for. So I'm going to encapsulate your past in this. You've spent your life in service to others. You've spent your life literally putting yourself out there to help other people. And it shows in your interactions on this platform. It showed in the conversations that we had, or in the conversation that we had yesterday. And it's also shown anytime I've been through your live or look at your content. And I am gonna say that you did spend part of your life in a very large state that SA Artistry likes a lot, and I don't hold that against you. I don't think that's your fault. I don't think it's SA's fault that she was born there. I don't hold that against her either. But
He's getting better.
yeah, she's getting better. so how is it that you ended up on TikTok doing the type of content that you do?
Curbing it, the job that I had before I started doing what I'm doing now, I worked with a lot of girls that were a little bit younger, and they were a lot more hip, I guess would be the word that comes to my mind. They were cool and they were fun and they had a good time, and it was a garbagey job sometimes that required a lot of patience, a lot of love. And some days you would spend your entire afternoon drive home crying, but you loved the job and you came back and you did it the next day because you love humans. And we started looking at this TikTok app, so they started pulling it up, and I was like, well, there's some funny people on there. And then I saw a little bit of the ugly, but it's funny. You just keep moving. So right. I did. I was like, well, I don't like that one. Let's find this one. I like that guy. So I made a private account, and I have videos that are still attached to mine at the way bottom of my people thing, that are private because they were at the beginning. I was trying to figure the thing out, figure out how it worked, and trying to come to terms with the fact that I'm not a teenager anymore, and I'm not 20 anymore, but I'm not old enough to be too old yet. So I wanted to have a little fun too, but I didn't want to get made fun of because I'd seen people being real ugly, and I didn't want any part of that. So I thought, well, it's for me. So I made videos, and then I would share them on Facebook, and I would do them with me and my son, not knowing a lot, but again, I kept it private. So it was just family and friends that we knew. And then another neighbor of mine started looking on here again and had found some really neat crochet people. And I was like, oh, that's like a thing on here? Really? Because I mean, I did it sitting at home at 2 a.m. when you couldn't sleep. I was like, oh, people do it like in front of people? Like people like watch you. And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, that's a little creepy. And it turns out there people crochet too. I'm that creep. So, so it's what you could do. I know it's weird. It ended up being I started understanding more, and honestly, your show, seeing you and Chad when you first started talking together, or at least when I first saw you start talking together about a year ago or so. I tripped into it, saw you guys, and I started understanding through seeing all these comments that this is like a group thing, and there wasn't all this ugly in yours. It was a group of people coming through, having positivity, and I said, I'm like, ooh, I can do that. I like people. There's days we all want to choke somebody, but at the end of the day, I would never do it because I love you more than I want to spank you, and so I'm gonna love you. And I'll love you until you figure it out, is what I'm going to do. And if I have to love you at a distance, I'll do that too. But if you've ever been treated bad, and if you've ever been on the ground, and if you've ever reached for somebody, then you understand what that feels like. And I can't stand the thought, and it's a mental thought, and it's super dramatic, and maybe, I don't know. But to me, when somebody's out crying, I don't know how you can walk away. I never could figure that out, to my detriment sometimes. So I put my hand back out. What I learned, and I'm learning, and I struggle with it some days, even today, is I can't let you pull me down, but I'll stand there and hold on. Even if I can't pull you up, I'll hold on for a minute. So at least you're not alone. I'll sit with you there.
Right.
And I'll give you a little bit of space. I won't let you consume me, but I'll give you a little space with me. And if that's not enough, then I don't think that that's my fault or my problem at that point. But I'll give you a little space. So I started making these videos. And some of them are, I feel bad, as I think some people think I'm not okay. And I'm okay. I'm really okay. 99.9% of the time, I'm okay. But some of the people like, oh, I hope your day gets better. And I'm like, my day is great. I just thought maybe the message, so I thought I'd share it. And people started responding. So I would just tell them, I'm doing wonderful. I love the message. That's all. But thank you for checking, and how are you? I think we forget, because we love to talk about ourselves. We forget to do it, and I almost did it with you earlier when you messaged touch and base. You were asking, well, how are you doing? What are you doing good? You still feeling good about tonight? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, chatted for a second, and then I thought, and I said, how are you? How about you? I think it's important to remember that. It's okay if it takes a minute.
That doesn't happen that often, to tell you the truth.
You gotta remember.
You're right. And being someone that used to do social work, it's a common. That's something I used to write into the programming. Actually, is something you knew to do naturally, which was ask the other person how they are before you leave the meeting.
I used to tell everybody, I hate people. Oh, people make me mad. I think that's a lie that I've told myself for a very long time. And the reality is I just wasn't happy with who I was. And I'm still learning to love me. That's a process. Essay's work actually it's been one of those things. I've shared it with my mom. I've shared it with my friends. I mean, if you don't have TikTok, I have it. I will pull her up on my phone and show you,
Essay's incredible, yes.
Well, her messages through her stuff, you can feel it. And I think there's a lot of us, especially my generation, that we doodled. And her paintings, I'm not minimizing them to a doodle. I promise I say I'm not. I would never do that. But because there's so much to see, and there are so many things and feelings that are embodied in one picture is so much more. It's not one. It's a multitude. It's immeasurable. And sometimes, depending on who's looking and what you need. And it just reminded me of when we were kids. We would doodle. And we would doodle a sad face, a happy face, a heart, some other weird thing. And it was all on the same piece of paper. So it brings a lot back. And then in her case, of course, it's not a doodle. It's whoa,
Right.
So,
right. Well, Ted making art is the best doodler on the planet. I mean, I love her stuff. I have her shirt. There's art behind me that is hers.
True.
And it's, you know what I mean? So like you said, she took it to an art form, right? Like there's several of people that I've followed through her that do amazing. Josh Amatic was in here earlier, and I know it's abstract art, but in a way it reminds me of somebody that's kind of doodling out ideas, when he's painting. So I think, and here's the thing, and part of the reason I asked that question is Chad and I can tell you this, like you said, people don't realize this, but Chad and I didn't know each other when we started the show. We met through Tiffany, and we had like a month or two. And during that month or two, we met each other online and had a quick conversation. And Chad was like, "Hey, can you co-host my show?" And I'm like, "Hell no." And he's like, "No, man, but come on, see what I'm saying is." And I'm like, all right, cool. And then, but we made conscious decisions thank you, Darcel, about how we were going to approach it. And I've never said this on the live before, but I consciously decided to go back to that Dion that was teaching special ed in 3rd grade or 5th grade or 1st grade. I picked 3rd grade because I worked with kids all the way preschool, all the way to old folks. So 3rd grade was about the level that connected with everyone. And it left out all the religious stuff. It left out all the political stuff. A lot of the nonsense gets left out of 3rd grade. So we literally came up with a strategy and said that's kind of how we're going to approach it. Now Rev down here, he had a show already that he was doing, but he came up with a concept that was actually 2 concepts in one. The concept of having a co-host would allow him to focus more on his art, but it also gave this more formality kind of to the show, if that makes sense, and more structure kind of to the show. And so we pretty quickly started trying to figure out ways to build in almost fail safes with the way we set the shows up, if that makes sense. The no politics, no religion would be one of those. And the cool thing, the reason you're so inspirational is you obviously did all that intuitively. Like you literally are who you are now I'm not, me and Chad aren't in a position where you want to know everything that we think. So we decided to leave that part out. You are probably a much nicer person, so you could share more of that. But it seems to me that you intuitively took the approach that I'm going to be kind and I'm going to be positive. And it seems like that approach in itself got you haters.
Oh yeah.
Which is wild.
It's got
Us
nothing
too,
to
by
do
the
with-
way. Us too.
Somebody told me a long time ago, and it's a hard concept. But what you think about me, especially negative, I embrace the positive, of course. I mean, and appreciate it. But the negative stuff, it's honestly none of my business, and that's hard. Ooh, because I'm nosy. But it really is none of my business. If you are that mad at me for doing okay and I don't do what I would call thrive necessarily. I survive. I move on. And, in the middle of a storm, I'm going to find that pretty somewhere, somehow, because I choose to. Not because I'm magical, not because I'm some hippie concepted individual, but because I spent a long time being mad about nothing. Nothing. There was no reason. And I've got photos and photos and photos of being a child and a teenager, and I was a miserable little snot. And I still apologize to my mom. We have Saturday morning standing date coffee every Saturday morning, except she's bailing on me this Saturday because she's going to have a good time elsewhere. But it's what we do, and one of the things I do periodically is just apologize for being nasty. I said, geez, I just must have made it so hard. Thank you. I said, I must have made it so hard. She was over there trying to have a birthday party or take me to do something enjoyable, and I had I called it a puss on my face the whole time. Scrunched, that's where this stuff comes from, and just mad for nothing. And
Was it a defense mechanism? Was it like a coping mechanism?
I don't know.
Or was it just your...
I mean, everybody, the new age concept of trauma is a little stressful to me. I think it gets tossed around frivolously without a lot of depth to it. And again, your depth is your business. But I don't have what I would say is any kind of a major trauma. I had the typical...
Well, a coping mechanism doesn't have to be attached to trauma.
No,
Coping mechanism is just a way that you cope with any given situation. So if you were a shy person, a coping mechanism might be to act like you're mad.
Would be a good one.
Right. If you're insecure, a coping mechanism might be to be really shy or really quiet.
That's mean. I was mean.
It isn't necessarily attached to trauma.
I brought more unnecessary attention to myself than I probably should have. But, you know, and I hit my 30s and I had a kid that was starting to act like a snot. And I was like, oh boy, if that's not karma right there, bud. So we've made it a point. I go out of my way. We laugh at least once a day. I don't care what it is. I don't care how gross something I'll do. I have a boy, so you imagine we're a little gross sometimes in this house. But I will do. We need to laugh. I don't want to be mad anymore. I can be mad. I get upset about things. I'm not impervious to it, but I am definitely. I choose to be happy. I choose to be kind. I choose to. You cut me off in traffic instead of getting mad and flipping you off. You know, maybe they had to go to the bathroom.
Right.
You know, maybe they had to go really bad. Maybe their kid screaming in the back seat and they lost their mind for just a second, you know, and they cut me off. I'm okay. They're okay. What's flipping them off gonna do? Make me feel good for 5 seconds and maybe put them in a foul mood for the rest of the day, and they take it out on their kid, and it's just a ripple. It's a ripple. So I want my ripple to start with kindness, and if that offends you, well, that's your problem.
Right on. Pamela's right. Cope with stress. Not all stress is bad. Right. Exactly. Some stress is. In fact, people like Chad, I would argue, people like me thrive on it. Like, you know, going on stage and playing music is a stressful situation, and that's where he excelled. You know what I mean? Launching fighters and, you know, that world is a stressful situation. But so. What you're telling me is that you make a conscious choice to be kind, to be nice, and that has changed your life essentially. You at some point came to the conclusion that, man, I'm angry about stuff and I don't even know why. I'm just going to decide that I'm not angry anymore. I'm going to be nice, and that's what you did.
Yeah. What is it? I'm going to butcher it. Italo? Italo. What
you did way
said,
better than I did for a month.
I heard you say it. I was trying to remember. I thrive under stress. I function under stress. I don't thrive under it. I function under it. I function well, especially because I hunker down and I you know, you bear down and you do it. You do what needs to be done. But I don't want daily. I can do it. I don't want to. I crochet a little bad guy to make me feel better, but like hold me
That
eyes.
is so cool.
Chad, there's more, dude. You're gonna love this, bro. I'm telling you. This is, you don't even know this. This is your day, bro. The shirt and the first thing she's shown you should have you sold already, my brother. Come on, man. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. No, I do.
yeah.
That's why I started doing quirky.
What a painting.
I needed it. It's I guess, I don't know, you could say it's my you know what of choice. I don't know if I should say the other word, so we'll just say it's my
I got you. Yeah.
It makes me, it gives me that out to you know, I'm feeling kind of cranky today, or I'm feeling a little bitey and nasty, so I'm gonna make something nasty, I guess. So I make nasty things sometimes, not inappropriate nasty. Well, I guess it depends on the eye of the beholder, right? So maybe, I don't know. I can't take that to certain functions to sell it because it's inappropriate, but I like making it anyway.
I love it. Well, it takes me back, and I love this. I love that this is so conversational. And we in our discussion, we kind of thought that's how it would go. It ended up, you know, being a conversational type thing. But Chad, for example,
I can remember it's that part I was talking about when we first kind of. I mean, we would literally stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning doing video calls every night. We were talking about trying to put the shows together and the concepts and how we were going to do it and different ideas, but we were also sharing information with each other, trying to, like I told you, we literally made a decision. Hey, bro, normally it would take both of us some years to gain the kind of trust we're about to have. So let's jump over some barriers, trust each other, roll with it, and see what happens. Now, I got to tell you, I was skeptical. My wife was skeptical. People that I was business partners with were skeptical. Some ejected. But that risk, being willing to put yourself out there and trust somebody, I can't speak for Chad. I can only speak for myself. But it ended up turning into a relationship with somebody that, very good probability that he'll be a lifelong friend, that we will care about each other and look 100%. Out for each other for the rest of our lives. And
100.
And it was really out of character for me. It was it doesn't seem like it, but for me, that was a huge risk to take, 12 at the time, 12 years, 11 years into the business. And this was just going to be a tool. And now we're talking about doing shows and stuff. So in that conversation, Chad said something, and I'm paraphrasing, Chad, you might have to correct me here, but he was talking about that. He's like, man, he's like, I had leukemia as a kid. I've had a kidney transplant that's now 21 years old. I've been through chemo, like the red kind, the brutal kind that you can only have so much in your life, twice. And I, I could have come out of that and been bitter and pissed off that I had to do all that to survive, or I could go on with getting on with enjoying that life that I fought so hard to get. And it was really profound to me. My father passed of cancer. My wife's mother passed of cancer, which is one of the motivations when I said I quit. It was years ago that she passed away, but she passed from lung cancer, and she was a lifelong smoker. So the reality is that when we allow ourselves to take chances, yes, there are huge risks, but the reward sometimes is so much better. And if at the same time we decide to do it with a mindset that is positive, it is unbelievable what can be achieved. And you are someone that I see did all of that on their own. Like, you worked all that out, figured all that out, and then it comes out in the product that is your content. What I mean by product is the content that you make. It is self-evident in that content, and that just blows my mind that you're able to do that. And I probably didn't leave you much to say there, but sorry.
You're going to love this. This is a straight up moment. Were you talking to Chad or me? I thought you were talking to him. I'm like, yeah, he is awesome.
Well, both of y'all. I was trying to relate to you. I was trying to relate to you the conversation, a summation of the conversation that Chad and I had, that was profound to me. That this man just told me that he could either be bitter about the battle that he's been through, or he can go on living the life that he fought so hard to get.
No, you
strike me as coming out of that same mentality is what I was trying to pass it off on.
Yeah. I just, no, I knew a little bit about that, Chad, that you'd been through, and I'm sorry about all that, but I'm glad you are who you are and you are where you are. But that's something else I think I've learned too. Would we be
get where we are?
It's rough. You okay?
Sorry, I lost audio for a second. Yeah, I just lost audio while you were talking for a moment. Sorry.
It's called tuning me out. It's okay. people do it.
Not this time. You're the one that had a me moment just a second ago.
It blended and I lost. I'm so sorry. That was terrible. But I figured instead of sitting here lying, I might as well ask. I wanted to get back to the same thing.
Y'all are hilarious. The conversation
I
is
find
just
myself
simply
there all
that,
the time.
right? Me too. So at any rate, but you didn't. The predecessor to that was that you made a conscious decision to be positive and not be bitter and angry anymore. And I was kind of correlating that with Chad coming to an epiphany. I would argue a bigger epiphany, but an epiphany that, hey, I've been through some shit. I can be pissed off and angry and spend my days worrying about what I've been through, or I can get on enjoying the life that I fought so hard to get. And my conversation with you, Kris, what I'm saying is our conversations struck similar tones. Y'all spoke in similar ways. Your perspective on the world, to my ears, sounds very similar. But I think you got there different ways. That's what I was trying to
The stakes were a little bit lower for me. Yeah. It's always, but you got there. I can't imagine, like I said, going into 60s, 70s, 80s and being a bitter, miserable, get off my lawn, screaming, angry. Who wants that? It's going to be hard for all of us no matter what, in numerous ways, all different. Your heart's going to be different than my heart. His heart has already been, Chad, your heart's been different than my heart. And they're not, yours is bigger, yours is harder, yours is worse. It's different, And your heart has been hard in your way for you, and it's different than ours. And we all get there in a different way. And you just have to make decisions. I don't know. I think accountability it's a word that a lot of people don't really get. And I think it's really important and it's necessary. You don't owe anything to me. You owe it to yourself. If you're going to sit there and keep telling yourself you're a nice person, and then you go and cut people off and you got your finger hanging out the window and you're swearing at people and you let the door shut on grandma and you didn't even acknowledge she was behind you. You're just shut out to the entire world. Maybe you're not outright mean, but you're definitely not known. You're not a good person.
And that person usually expects everyone to drop what they're doing when they have a problem, but they are completely oblivious to anybody else's problem. I feel you on that. I feel you. Just as an observation, this show, for example, Chad and I have witnessed, I don't want to throw Chad under the bus, but we've witnessed some patterns with the shows that we do and the people that we interact with. And it's this thing, right? There are people like yourself that are out there doing their business, putting out their content, doing what they do. And when you and I had a conversation about being on the show, you're like, oh, cool. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. That right on, but it wasn't like an obsession or anything. It was just, oh, okay, cool. Like an afterthought. But Chad and I have also experienced like all of the things, like people that being angry because they haven't been on, or have their feelings hurt, or pout, or grown ass people pouting because they didn't get to be on a TikTok show. So there is and there's like this undercurrent of negativity. That's another conversation Chad and I had when we were trying to set up the shows, that globally or nationally, there's this undercurrent of negativity that seems to thrive. And what seems to get a lot of attention is that negativity. So I have this theory that people are almost being taught to be negative. And unless we start consciously trying to be positive, more and more of us are going to fall into that trap. It is really easy. It's the easy way out, right? Bitching about what other people are doing is the easy way out. Yeah. Complaining about how, everybody else does their thing is the easy way out, especially if you're not doing anything anyway, right? So I feel that what you're doing is so important, because I literally believe that we live in a world that if those of us capable of making the choice to do positive things don't do it, then all of us are going to suffer. So we can either make a positive choice to keep trying to do positive things, which is probably why Chad and I decided to keep doing the show when we did our 6-month review. And it's got to be worth it though, right? It's got to be, there's got to be some sort of payoff for that. And for me, the payoff has been friendships with people like Chad, with people like yourself, Essay, Eric, Enigma. I'm going to miss them. There's tons of people in the chat, right? Tiffany, all of the people that we enjoy working with so much. So you have this like beacon over there where you're at, that you do your content. When you're coming up with your content, do you consciously, like, something will happen and you'll make content relative to that? Or is it more like an interesting thing or concept will come up and you'll be like, I'm going to make content about that? I'm not able to tell sometimes. And both of them are cool. You know what I mean? That's a compliment. Right. That's right.
The negative pick me up. You know, I had something negative happen. I've got my share of stuff. I aggravate people, and people that are very literally close seek to aggravate me and mess with that and mess with my peace, you know, every day. And most of the time, I roll with it. You know, you just brush it off and you keep going, because you're not in my home. You're not my problem. You do you. Your problem's not my business. But then those days that it weighs you down, you know, you can only, I told you, my little brother always tells me he's eating a poo sandwich, only the derogatory. Yeah. But, you know, right. And
you can say shit sandwich. It's all right.
I didn't know if you can or not. I can only eat so many before I'm human. I get mad. I get big mad, and I feel very small. And I operate within the confines of, I'm well aware of the legal system, so I know what's legally acceptable, but I also know what's socially acceptable. And how do you respond when you are forced to eat it repeatedly and you can't make it stop? Literally cannot make something stop. It will not stop coming at you. You have to find a way. Psycho bears, you know, low cereal. You know, you make those. You put on a ridiculous hat. My lovely chicken, you put it on and you shake the kitchen with your 14-year-old son looking at you like you've lost your mind, and your mom comes over and puts a hat on.
Hell
and
yeah.
You laugh so hard you cry, because the alternative is to go get arrested because you crossed the line. And
right.
I didn't want that. So I put on my chicken and I'll run down this neighborhood street, or I will dance in my backyard, or I will sit here sometimes and just resonate when it gets me way down, those peaceful ones where it's just more something sometimes. But I don't throw my business out there because I'm not trying to trash anybody. The people that are problematic to me are on this app. I don't know if they're blocked from blocking me or not, or seeing or watching, but we all know that nastiness likes to voyeur to see. It's like they can't help themselves. Yeah. So that's fine. Watch what you need to watch. The reality is I'm gonna have down days. I'm not gonna apologize for it. I'm gonna share maybe something I came across positive on here, and I hope you pick it up with me. And maybe you had a bad day and that made you feel better. You know, maybe it didn't, maybe it did, but you know, it's again, it's accountability too. Accountability is not just all this positive, good stuff. Sometimes it's, I'm mad and I'm going to accept that and I'm going to be okay with it, and I'm going to function through it in a healthier manner rather than a barbaric manner that's going to be unacceptable for pick the list of reasons why it's unacceptable, but I can't do that, or I choose not to.
Right.
It's a ride.
Right.
Every day it's a ride, but so I play with yarn and I play with a hook, and I probably look like a psychotic individual on my front porch in my rocking chair. I have a whole little cart. I'm going to be the cart lady someday. I have a cart sitting next to me right now with the things I need on 3 tiers. I roll it through my house wherever I'm at, in my office, in my living room, at the kitchen table, outside, and I enjoy my life and I take it for what it is. And you know, when I started doing that, a wonderful human came into my life, and I wouldn't trade him for the world. I started appreciating the quirks of my 14-year-old son instead of he's different and I'm frustrated by it. I started appreciating it. That's my person, you know. Right. I enjoy my dogs more, you know. And there's days I fail, but I don't want to, so I won't stay there.
So do you have any techniques or any like processes that you go through to get to that positive place?
If I
Or
need to
is
cry, I
it,
cry. I don't make it public. I don't go on Facebook and go, oh, I'm so sad. My life is hard. I will go to the bathroom or to the bedroom, or sometimes I'll sit here because I let my 14-year-old see me have human responses. I think it's healthy within reason. And I will cry and I will clean myself up. And, he'll ask me, he started asking, that's new. Hey, Mom, how come you're sad? The first time, it's not all the time, but he asked me one time, or why are you mad? It's a good question. Let's talk about that, and I keep it
That is a good
14-year-old
question.
mentally compatible, but for a kid to set his self aside at 14 to ask, I'm doing something right. So I just take it
yes,
a day at a time. And some days I don't get it right, but I let myself feel the feelings. If I'm that also awkward one in Walmart. Golly, help you if you see me in Walmart and you're wearing something cute. I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to tell you in front of everybody because I don't care. If you have a wonderful shirt on, I'm going to flag you down. I have flagged a lady down in the store the one day. She had some handmade item. I don't know if she made it. It was gifted. She stole it. I don't know. I don't care. She had it. It was wonderful. So I flag her down running across the parking lot to tell her how wonderful I thought that item was that she had. It was a bag. And she's looking at me like I'm half nuts, but the smile she had walking away, worth it. I never posted
Right.
that, put that on anything. It wasn't for anybody. That maybe it was selfish, but that made me feel good. I'm glad it
Right.
made her feel good. And I don't know, maybe that ripple goes. Maybe that ripple goes. Maybe she says something nice to somebody, and maybe it does something big somewhere down the line of ripple. I don't know.
Right.
I'd rather that ripple than I flip somebody off and they go home and do something they can't undo to their family member because I was that last straw that broke them. I don't want to be
Right. That butterfly effect in a positive way, right? The butterfly, you
It
never
works
know what's
both
going to happen, what the ripples are going to be, right?
internet
And
doesn't just have to be
someone, I find that was the other thing that I think Chad would agree with this, that I find is that the just like there's some negativity, a little bit, there's a little corner of negativity on the platform, but the vast majority of people on the platform are looking for something positive, or are trying to find something that's maybe interesting or whatever, but they're not all looking for that negative thing that seems to drive so much. And making positive content isn't always easy, I can't imagine. For Chad and I, we do the shows, so we can pull content out of that, or we have people like Essay or Tiffany or Eric or Enigma or Cat around that make us laugh or whatever. Like the people on the platform that I work with so much have become that source of joy that you're talking about, if that makes sense, right? And I think it's because they're the kind of people that made conscious decisions. Like, look at SA Artistry's content.
I pull from her. I hate
Right?
to. I mean, I'm glad I can do it in a way that she doesn't even know. I mean, she knows now, but she doesn't know. As in, I'm not. You got to watch how much weight you put on people. You have to be conscious of that. It's okay to lean. It's okay to say, I need a little help. I need an ear to talk. But you got to watch how far you lean on people, because it's not just because they're not saying all their weight. You have no idea how big their load is, and you got to watch that.
Right.
So essays
Right.
posts. I have had days. I told you, person. I've had those days where I am in tears, and I am just overwhelmed, and I'm in my feels, and I'm in my negative feels, and I know I don't want to be here, so I will seek out, and I'm going to make it awkward, I say, but I will hunt her, her page.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
She does it. And I mean, I figure it like this. It doesn't hurt her. I'm not waiting on her because I don't say, gosh, I'm so glad I saw this. You made me all better today, because that's weight. It's not horrible weight, but it's weight. And I know it can get a lot more deep than what I just said, but she doesn't need to carry that weight. What she needs is, hey, I loved your post today. Leave it at that. Or heart face. I do the heart face eyes a lot. It's just easy and it interacts, and I figure it's something. And I'll give
Yes.
that. And she, I would hope she's well aware, continuing to do it, that her posts are getting out there. They're definitely, that positivity rolls through and I've taken
Yes.
from hers when I've needed it. I watched Chad the other day playing his goat, your one goat.
Gary.
I was having a terrible day when I came across that, and I just laughed. I mean, I looked like a loon because I'm sitting here because I don't do my stuff like that. I put
Good.
my in so people don't hear. So I'm watching this, and I saw your goat, and you're
Yep.
being angry, and I tell you, it just hit me just right. And I needed that laugh, and I needed that giggle.
Awesome.
Hunt people on here that we talk to and that we see and that post all this nice stuff. There's a lady who actually, I don't know what you call it. I call it paints with yarn. It's different. She's got a French name maybe, or something out of New Orleans, something. Christine Dioris or something. It's a beautiful name. I'm probably butchering it. I'd have to find her on my thing. But regardless, she does a lot of inspirational, and a lot of her videos are her looking out her bedroom window in the morning when the sun is breaking, and she will catch that, and she will just say a little something nice. And I've pulled from her numerous times, and she has commented on mine, boy, I needed that today. And I'm like, oh, I want to give you back, because if you knew how many times I've watched you to pull me into that, let's start my day off with a positive. I mean, there's lots of negative. Well, that's because people do it. You could be lots of positive too. You just got to do it. So I do it. Yeah. The win-win.
Yeah. There's some amazing positive people in the chat, actually. Kat and Kira and Eve, and I see going through. I too pull inspiration from, the other, like the content that Essay did today or yesterday, the cicada. Did you see that by chance?
I haven't been on much today because work was
When
not.
you get you're in for a treat. I'm telling you, you're in for a treat.
It wins the internet.
Go look at her
It wins the
cicada
internet.
post that she did within the last 24 hours. Thank you, Kira. That's what you're talking about. It's incredible. She finds these ways to be positive and send those positive vibes out there, and hopefully it comes across. She's been an integral part of what we do since the beginning, like Tiffany. Like a lot of those conversations that we were having about how do we approach this or that, Essay was the person in the background saying, well, I got this little cicada, and, we're like, oh, okay, maybe we should, but like she would always have a way. Now, she spent years of her life, here's another commonality, and she still does to this day, working with the population of folks who need a place to live, of all different levels. So maybe it's a thing about people who actively try to connect. Maybe that, and maybe that's what people could take away from you as well, is that, look, you have to actively, like, the people that you see with a smile on their face aren't always happy. Now, I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying
No. It's 100%
for
true.
you, actually. And it's almost like that doesn't dawn on folks sometimes on the interwebs there that, every smiling face isn't a happy person, right? And giving a little grace and a little courtesy and a little room doesn't hurt. And it's the same social skills that you would use in a room full of people, right? Be nice to the people in the room. Try to smile. Try to be polite. Don't go out of your way to be rude to everybody in the room. I've never understood someone walks in a room, is rude to everybody in the room, and then later is talking about how much of a bummer it was to be in that room. Well, maybe don't be an asshole to everybody in the room, and it wouldn't be such a bummer for you.
I call them on it. We're big enough at this point, and we're at that point where, again, it's accountability.
Right.
I told you I worked in a long-term care facility. I don't mind to share that one. And I will never forget, they put me over. It was a rehab on one side and a long-term care on the other. Rehab not for addiction.
Physical rehab.
Rehab for like knee replacements, shoulders, hips, things.
Right.
I went over to the long-term care. It was my first couple of times getting pulled over there. It's a new unit. It's new people. It's new working people. And I went over there with a foul attitude. Oh, man. I didn't want to go. I wanted where I wanted. I wanted where I've been working. I've been working there for like 2 years at this point. What do you mean you're pulling me over here? I was offended and I was butthurt and I was loud about it. And I will never forget. I have numerous times thanked this nurse over the course of these years to today and thanked her for jerking a knot in my butt. She dead ass pulled me into the nurse's station, got right nose to nose with me, and she is my size. We're all a 5'2", 5'3". Got right in my nose, and she just looked at me and said, I am not going to spend the next X amount of hours with this. If this is who you're going to be today, then you can go home. I would rather work short than have to work with this for the rest of the day because you are going to pull everybody down with you. And I started to bite back and I swallowed it. And I don't know what made me swallow it, but I swallowed, probably because she was right. You know, some part of me is as bad as my pride wanted to rear up and give her a good old 1-2 and to kiss her for nose to nose in me. I knew I was wrong. And I shut up and I said, no, ma'am. And I went back. I didn't speak to her the rest of the day. I came in the next day and they pulled me over there again. And I said, deep breath in, deep breath out. I marched myself over there. She was there. She looked at me. I looked at her. I said, good morning. And I went to work. And I have since found her and sought her out to thank her and told her. And when I've heard other people doing the same thing I did, I understand why, because I was there. I know why I was upset. I know why it was new. Nobody likes, most people don't like new. It's overwhelming. You have a job, you feel good in your job, and now you're shaking it up. And now I'm mad about it. And I could have been that person every day until I got fired, made everybody miserable, made a whole bunch of enemies, or I could take what she said to me to heart, put my pride in the back door and say, darn it, thank you. So I did. I said thank you. It took me a little while to say thank you because it needed to resonate. And that's okay. And I let that be okay. You got to remember that it's okay. Nobody might tell you that, but let me tell you. If it takes a minute to resonate that you screwed up, and it's taken a minute for you to make peace with it and acknowledge it and hold yourself accountable for it, that's okay. It's okay that it takes a little bit of time. I promise it's okay. And then move on. Move forward. Don't beat yourself up anymore. Don't let anybody else beat you up. Move on, move forward, move past it, do better. And then you're good. You got nothing to be ashamed of if you do better. Nothing. We aren't who we were. I'm not who I was 20 years ago. I'm not who I was 10 years ago. Time changes us. You can do better or you can do worse. You choose. Nobody's doing that to you. You choose.
But you got to be willing to be accountable. I love the fact that you always return to accountability, because Chad will tell you, him and I have had many conversations, and I'm like, look, there's got to be some kind of accountability, because there's no, in my view, we all of the names that we've mentioned and most of the people in the chat right now are the type of people who would like for people to be able to redeem themselves, for people, whatever. It just don't always have to be some big dramatic thing.
No.
There are little things every day that happen that you might quip a comment before you think, and you wish you wouldn't have said it. And, you know, instead of just saying, hey, you know what, my bad, that was a screwed up thing to say. You know, a lot of the times people, their pride won't allow that exchange to happen, so they just keep going with it. And it ends up being this ongoing negative thing, and they end up doing other ridiculous things to try to make up for the last ridiculous thing, and it just becomes this pattern of apologies, right, that are insincere. So I have a lot of respect for your approach, Kris. You know, the idea of accountability, but leaving room for people to have grace. Leaving room for people to be themselves and be. Look, the other part of this conversation, in my opinion, is everybody ain't for everybody.
No,
right?
And that's okay too. You gotta remember.
If you and I were to work together on a project, and at the end of that project, I decided I didn't want to work with you anymore.
That's okay.
Or you decided that you didn't want to work with me anymore, that should be all right. That should be, you know, that was a cool project. We'll go on and do our separate things, right?
That's all it is. It's misplaced pride. It's okay to play a part in people's lives, a beneficial part. You don't even need to know what the benefit was. They benefited you, you benefited them, and then let it go.
And the other side of that equation is true as well, right? Is that this experience can either forevermore be a negative experience, or it could be, hey, a cool experience that we had and we move on and do our thing. And it isn't necessarily an insult to just figure out that you don't necessarily vibe with someone. That don't even have to be a negative thing. Like creative people in creative spaces like this, we're all here for the creative space. You sometimes find out that, like, let's say that there's somebody that never, like you were talking about earlier, that has no situational awareness, right? Working with someone like that is very difficult because you end up having to do a lot of extra work to account for the things that they're not accounting for, right? And you may come to the end of that journey exhausted, and they're excited and celebrating. Well, and you're sitting there going, well, yeah, I bet it was a lot of fun because I did 90% of the work. Yeah. And you can either walk away from that bitter, or you can walk away from that and take something positive from it, right? And I feel like too often people get hung up, like you said, on our own thing. All of us get hung up on our own thing, and we don't take time to realize, hey, it's cool if I don't want to become a crocheter, right? I'm no threat to you at all. Now, in a year, crochet may be my thing. I don't know. But right now, I have no aspirations to be in crochet, right? But if I did, that isn't a threat to you.
No.
Right, right. You would be excited because somebody else is in the fold, so to speak.
One of the girls that just popped in here, there's two of them that are my usual suspects. I know Heidi popped in here. She's phenomenal, and her husband as well. He does masks and
these are usual suspects in a positive way, right? Because my moderators just all their ears stood up and they're on the launch button.
Positive way, yeah. Heidi Brocksmith.
Okay, all right. Don't throw anybody out, guys.
She's another crochet artist also, and then she also, I don't know how much with her husband she does with his stuff as well, but they both have got art forms that are absolutely mind-boggling. And then this one right here, Maya and Millie's Garden, she's another one. And one of our biggest things is that we are huge supporters. Maya and Millie's Garden does felt. I've never seen somebody create things with felt the way she does. She creates the neatest little beetles and moths and dragon wings and peach, just you name it, she does it. And she does this while being a mama of a little sweetheart. And us a group of people, we touch each other as far as it's going to be a little weird, but eyeballs, for instance. I know it seems weird, but eyes. I made these. I didn't make the whole art. I painted them. So what I did was I purchased blanks. I didn't know how to do that. One of the girls in our group actually took the time to sit with me on a the FB, I don't know what we can say, FB platform, and we video called each other, and she walked me through it. Now she sells them for money for her business because she's trying to make a big business out of what she's creating, and that's wonderful. I am a supporter, a pusher. I love it. Her work is worth it. It's amazing. But she took the time to not feel threatened by my asking. I was looking to cut corners because I keep my product a little on the lower end usually with things, and I do a lot of gifting to people because it makes me feel good. Well, if I'm paying $10 for a pair of eyes, that kind of makes it harder. So if I can make my own, I can feel a little easier financially about doing it.
Right,
so she took time instead of being threatened to show me that aspect of crochet and how to make a more cute eyeball. And our entire group constantly promotes kindness, positivity, acceptance, and just if you got something nasty, just swallow it. It's just not worth being hateful. If you got an issue, share it. If you're being nasty, swallow it. I don't care what it is. If it's nasty, just swallow it. Nobody wants to hear it. And we it's the most peaceful that I've had in a group of people that I've met in a very long time. So those lives that I do or theirs that I jump in, we're a lot of the same. We are just mellow and very the same vibe as you guys. Sometimes it's just one of us. Sometimes we'll have a group and we'll just chit chat and we share and we talk and we share and interact with the people that come in and out. And we just try to make it a good time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of us lives somewhere different, just like in here. And we've all got our own life things going on. And we have a menagerie of skills. And we enjoy our time. And that's how we roll. And I love it. It's just not, I don't know. If you want to do what I do, I will show you the best I can. If you want to know where I get my stuff, I will tell you. I will send you the website where I buy my stuff. If you want to know what color and what brand, I will tell you. Not on this platform, because apparently that's a no-no. I found out the hard way. But I have an email. I will email you the list. I have no
I'm
problem.
learning to. So
I
is
love
Chad.
sharing. I love sharing. I think it's good. And I've watched a lot, and I've seen, I don't know if this is crossing the line. If anybody gets upset, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go ahead and poke it for a second. It's new to me. Again, keep in mind, I'm 42, so I come from where things started switching with the whole gender thing. But y'all are men. There's a lot of men that follow you guys. You do something. I know, wise guy, I know. But to see men being accountable and kind and promote decency and not be all, well, I'm big and bad, you know, I know that's very stereotypical in a negative context, but it's also very realistic in my life experience. And I saw through you guys, there is a whole bunch of men and women of all different types in here. And y'all are just amazing people. And I mean, I just try to mimic that. I'm a mimic by nature. I don't create a whole lot on my own. I see something, I like it, I mimic it. That includes behavior. I like the behavior.
Yes.
I can do it. I can roll with it. I don't want to mimic Nancy, so I surround myself with nice and I handle it better.
Yes.
I have
And you're observant. You're observant. This something you were talking about. This
Yes.
I saw this. Bear with me for just a second. When I first started doing the woodworking thing, I live in Western North Carolina, which is furniture capital of the country for centuries. I live in one of the most prodigious hardwood forests on the planet. Obviously, that's where you would want to make furniture, right? And so there are people here that are like 5th and 6th generation furniture maker. Mm-hmm. And here I am, a dude that's not even from here, a transplant living here, and then doing the same profession as some of the people that have been here. It's weird because there were some that welcomed with open arms and were like, this is awesome. I'm glad there's people that want to keep the profession going. I'm glad there's people that want to know how to use some of these old tools and that kind of thing. And then there's other ones that are literally pissed off because I'm willing to share like how to maintain the old tools, or I shared a proprietary concoction that was a friend of mine's, an antique maker's, that he shared with me with my friend Chad. And I for me personally, if there's any way at all on any level that it would help Chad, I'm 100% in. But there are literally people that would be angry just for sharing that information. So the reason I relay that story is that was my experience before I got to TikTok. So when I got on TikTok, I'm literally looking, which are the people who are reaching out to try to help other artists, and which are the people that are actually threatened by them, and for one reason or another. And that, I haven't said that before, but that is one of the lenses, that experience of being a maker among people that were also makers, some of which are excited, some of which are just completely and absolutely threatened. Now, why someone that is 4th or 5th or 6th generation furniture maker would be threatened by some dude in a basement, I'm not sure, right? It just doesn't, it's hard for me to even register that. But
or the mortality. I think they are afraid.
But I've heard Chad say, look, same thing that you said earlier. I can give you all the same tools. I can give you all the exact same stuff that I have, and you still won't create the same product that I have. So what difference does it make?
Yep.
Correct.
And And so I think part of that negativity that we're talking about in my experience anyway comes from that area too. Like other creators that do something similar, instead of wanting to be collaborative and get better, it's almost like they want to be able to stay where they're at and still get the same rewards, which means everybody else has to dim what they're doing as well, right? I'm not gonna do that. So
No,
I think some of the negativity
I
also,
want you to shine brighter.
right.
Shine brighter.
So
I'll try me do it, man. I am all
yes,
I'm not upset if your light shine brighter. You know what it does? It gives me a goal. If your light shine brighter than my light, I don't want to steal from your light to make mine brighter. What good is that? That's ignorant. I want to make my light brighter by myself. So you just gave me something to work towards. You gave me a goal. That's healthy. That's competition in a positive, good way. That's fine. But if I have to knock you down and trash you to dim your light so that my crap looks brighter, and it's my crap's still my same crap, but now my crap looks brighter because I dimmed yours by talking bad about you. What good is that? I will never understand it, and I will never accept it.
I agree. It's a similar.
You got me on that one. Ooh. I felt that.
But so there's this in my brain, I can't help it. It's just the way my brain works. I'm looking for sources, right? Like, what's the source of this negativity? Well, and we're not going to talk politics or religion, but that is a good example. Other people doing the same type of thing, having this mentality that anybody else that does the same type of thing they do is a threat. I don't know how to break through that. I don't know how we get past those people. I don't know how. I mean, I've thrown so many olive branches down and tried to build so many bridges that, and it's just they're not into it. They're not, Oils with Mick. Oils with Mick popped on a show not too long ago, and he came on and he said this was a different show, but he came on and said that. He felt that way for years. Anybody else that was a painter was competition, and he didn't want to do anything to help them. And in the not so distant past, he changed his mindset and he started talking more in terms of a collaborative way. And from what he said in that conversation, he's happier. And I can imagine that he'll go through some trials and tribulations because there's probably going to be some people that were like, wait a minute, all that time you were like, and my argument would be, hey, give the dude a chance. If he's had a change of heart, then let's see. But he is one of the very few examples of anyone that I've had admit to me that, and I respect him a lot for doing that, actually admit that, hey, I was that way and now I'd rather work in a more collaborative way.
Yeah.
And so I think that's another light that you're carrying out there, is that you are somebody, just my observation, folks that crochet also have all different kinds of people in that realm.
There's nasty doing it.
From our conversation yesterday, I left that conversation believing that you dealt with a similar thing that I was talking about in the furniture world, in the crochet world.
Oh yeah.
And Chad deals with it in the painting world, the sculpting world, and the music world. So I'm sorry, bro.
Most definitely, yes. Check, check, and check.
You do. You gotta. I don't know. Like I said, leave the religion, leave the politics out of it. I don't think it's to blame anyway. I think it starts with you. You made a choice. You made a choice to be nasty. I don't care where it came from. You made the choice today. And you make the choice to be nice tomorrow or don't. That's up to you.
So how do we do that? How do those of us that are on a journey and we want to better ourselves, and we listen to you, Kris, and one day we come across one of your pieces of content and it hits us the way that you hope it might hit us one day, right? How does that journey start? How do you? I'm not saying you know this. I'm saying, how do you envision that? Like for me, I see that as the person you see evidence of the accountability thing. You see them start to demonstrate that they're willing to work with people in a sincere and honest way. It's that simple, right?
You might see that video and maybe it resonates for 5 seconds and that's all it took. But that 5 seconds, you were about to maybe backhand your 5-year-old because they spilled milk on the floor. And that 5 seconds that you chose to look at a video, which is what caused it in the first place, your 5-year-old was trying to do that by themselves because you were more interested in your phone. Instead of backhanded that kiddo, I don't know, maybe you didn't. Maybe you took that second and maybe it resonated with you. Something got aggressive, but that's simple. And then that's it. And then maybe you're a slot the rest of the day, but that one thing, I'll take it. It starts with one thing. It starts with one. It's all it has to be. It's just one. And it doesn't matter. You will never know. You will never know. I will never know. We will never know. We are far too small to know how far our ripple goes. But I don't want to put a dirty ripple in the water. I know I have. And I own that.
Oh, we all have. Oh,
And
yeah.
when it bites back at me, I will own it every time. I've had it happen recent. I've had to apologize. And I'll continue to apologize. I'll acknowledge, apologize, and move on. That might not be good enough for some people. That's not your problem. But that's a hard lesson I recently learned. I can make an amend the best I can. But when I've amended and you choose to still harbor that anger, that's as far as I can go with it. The rest is up to you.
Right.
Sorry I did that. This isn't what I meant. This is how I meant it. I do apologize. Wow, I shouldn't have said it that way, or I shouldn't have done it that way. I could have done better. And you want to continue to bring it up and be mad for months and months and months. It's not my fault anymore. You're going to say it is, and that's okay. It's none of my business. You tell everybody
Right.
it's still my fault. But if you're still upset months and months and months later and still blaming me for it, sounds to me like that's you. You forgot to love you today. Maybe you need to love you today.
Yes. Kira makes a great point. I think she's saying what you're saying. Did it just go by? Holy cow, I
No,
missed
it's
it.
right there. When you apologize, they don't owe you to move forward, but it's impossible to exist where you can't. That's true.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. To piggyback on that, there are certain apologies, in my opinion, that should never be given because they're not given to help the person that it's being given to. It's only going to help the person apologizing. So the person apologizing is just trying to unload some unrepairable situation and then put it on the other person. So I don't think that's what she's talking about. I'm confident that's not what Kris is talking about.
No.
I'm just putting that out there because I didn't want it to sound like that's what you were saying.
There are those shallow apologies. To me, it's not accountable though. There's the
Right.
accountability apology where you can't just say, well, I kicked your dog and I'm sorry, and then I did it because I did it and I'm not really sorry. I'm just saying it because you're mad. I'm not sorry I kicked your dog. I'm sorry you're mad about it. That's not accountability at all.
See, that's a discussion we're going to be having while we're pulling my foot out of your ass. If you kick my dog,
I know.
there's going to be some
Just thinking
accountability.
But I'm sorry I did. It's a fine line. It's also a fine line because it opens you up to give excuses and try to excuse your behavior. You can't
Right.
sometimes. If I've said horrible things in fits of anger, and I've had to sit there and take the result of it. So all I can do is say, in the aftermath, not immediately, but after it resonates and I've thought about it and this person is hurt. Hey, I'm really sorry that it went down that way. I hope we can work through it. Sometimes that's it. That's all you can say. And I mean it.
Right.
It's up to you to decide if I do. I mean, you're going to believe what you choose to believe. I can't control that. I think if you're going to apologize, you better mean it. And you better understand what you did. Or just don't. There's those shallow doesn't work.
The other thing that you advocate
I'm sorry.
for,
I'm
I
not
think.
kicking anybody's dog. Look, I tipped them up. I love dogs.
You just kicked everybody's dog, Kris.
I
You
know.
did that.
Look at
Sorry,
she has
Dog
dogs, y'all.
kicking mu-
She loves dogs. She's a dog person. It's okay. It's all good. It was just an example. You're gonna get hate mail.
There were no dogs kicked in the making of this episode of the Gin Project show.
But the grace you talked about earlier is what you're describing there. And here, I'll just use another personal example since we're throwing Chad under the bus tonight. You know, I was talking about earlier, Chad and I had to come to some pretty quick determinations about trust. And a lot of the times the way that trust is built is experientially, right? You have things that you can look back on in the past that you've been through together, that so you know when a new situation comes up, you're like, oh, well, this is similar and it's cool, and it gives you the ability to kind of navigate it. In our situation, we didn't have that past. We just started out with, we're going to trust.
Yeah.
And there were a couple times, you know, believe it or not, we've had some heated conversations because we're both passionate dudes and we both care about the people that we care about deeply. And it isn't even angry. It's just like we're passionate about what we do. And there have been a couple times when we were in one of those situations, and one or the other of us was like, whoa, wait a minute here. And we just kind of stopped and, you know, we're sitting there blinking, kind of like trying to think of, and then it occurs to us, we don't have all of that history to go by. So remember we said we were going to trust each other. We just need to do that right now because that's what, you know, that was the commitment. And, you know, we're actually rowing in the same direction. We're trying to do the same thing. But I would say that Chad is one of my closest friends. And even with Chad, sometimes that thing that you're talking about, you got to kind of pause and be like, all right, wait, now, where are we coming from here? What is this like, you know, what am I not hearing? What am I not understanding? Because the guy that I know and what I'm hearing don't match right now. And then inevitably, it was we missed 3 words in the conversation because the thing glitched out, or what happened earlier. One of us was talking about one situation and the other one thought we were talking about a different situation. And then once we finally figured out, we're like, oh shit, okay. But so that grace,
but it's always
with
his
the
fault.
accountability, it's always my fault, 100% of the time, 100% of the time for sure.
Always.
But that grace
100.
that you were talking about is something that us men are actively having to figure out. Me personally, I say us men meaning Chad and I, but you know, I come from the South, the deep South culture where men have a certain thing, women have a certain thing, everybody's got their place, everybody, you know, all that kind of thing. And being a man, you don't complain, you don't tell anybody you're hurt, you don't tell anybody you're sick, you don't tell anybody anything's wrong. You always either keep a non-expression on your face or a smile. You know what I mean? So he and I are both trying to unlearn these things that we were taught that we were supposed to be by the society that we're raised in. At the same time that society is trying to change to something hopefully better, right? So Chad, for example, is the, like you said earlier, like the next evolution. He's raising a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that his daughter is going to be raised to see men differently than the last generation.
Yeah.
Right? On one hand, hold them more accountable in some instances. And on the other hand, maybe give some grace because we're trying to figure shit out. you know what I mean?
It's our first time living. And it doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, or 10 or 20 years old. It's your first time. My first time doing this. I'm going to make mistakes. It's what you do with it when you make the mistake. It's what you do with it. Do you keep doing it like they're talking about in the chat too a little bit? Do you keep doing it and just not care about what kind of a massacre you leave in your wake? Or do you move and learn and do better? You know, I mean, it's our first time living, and you gotta forgive yourself too. And you gotta forgive yourself and be human. And I mean, you might make the big mistake, whatever the big mistake is. Somebody cannot forgive, and you need to be graceful about that as well. If you screw up that bad, if something you've done to somebody is big enough to that individual, it doesn't matter that you might think it's stupid. To them, it was unforgivable, and they can't move past it. You need to be respectful of that. Let them go. Let them go and shut your mouth. You know, learn from it so you don't do it again. And that's the lesson you can gain. That's the lesson you can take from it. I read it somewhere. It's kind of the whole season, people in your life for a season. But somebody wrote something I read at some point, and it's okay. And it gave me a new perspective on people in your life. It's okay if they're there for a minute, if they're there for a year. If you think that they're your best friend for 15 years and then they just up and disappear, you can be all upset because, well, I put all this time, energy, effort, money, and all my love into knowing you, and you just walked away from me. Or you can say, you know, I don't know what it is you left for, and that's all right. Now you could be sad for a minute. Don't stay there. Just don't stay there. And you know what? I hope I gave you something. I hope I gave you something you needed, because maybe they were in your life because they needed something from you, not money. I mean, maybe money, but maybe they needed somebody that actually cared, and you did that for them. And then they moved forward with their life, but that was your part. That was it. That was all it was. And you can't always be sad about that forever. You have to let it be that's okay and make peace with it. And I personally am at a point where I'm pretty happy if I played a part in you and you took something from me. I promise I willingly gave it, even if I didn't know. It's willingly given from me. And if you took that from me and you're moving forward with your life and you're doing what you need to do, and I'm no longer a chapter in your story because that's over, I'm all right with that. Maybe I'll come up in a later chapter toward the end of the book. Maybe I won't. I'm okay with that. I'm happy for that. And, you know, maybe you did something for me. Maybe you were that nurse that was just a couple of sentences in my entire story who jerked a knot in my butt that set me on a continued path. Because I think I had started on this path of being better, and then I'd started to falter with that attitude, and she jerked me right back on that path. And she had no idea in that moment. She was reacting to my behavior. And what she did, the ripple that had, is just...
She was trying to get through the next 8 hours or 12 hours or whatever it was, literally.
A nightmare, run her mouth the whole damn time, and I can't blame her for it. If anything, I'm grateful here today. You know, years later, I still think about her, and I'm still grateful to her. You know, you have to choose.
Well, I 100% agree with you. This has been a wonderful conversation. I love talking to you. And my buddy down here has an important mission here before too long. But I want to make sure we get to some of your art.
Yes, sir.
But so for anybody that is interested, and we can put this out in content too, is in my bio. If you click on my bio and go down to the link tree, you will find Kris Major's Etsy page there, and you can check out all kinds of cool stuff.
I'm going to be dropping a lot more as we get closer to Halloween, because I love Halloween. Yeah, Heidi knows some of the stuff I've been working at, but I've got, there you go. See, just keep watching. These guys are coming in. I'm going to, Jason Bears, I'm going to do more.
Wait, hold on. Jason, go, slow down. Jason Bear. Let's see the Jason Bear. Yes. And tell us about you actually made you ordered the knife blanks, and then you painted them.
Yep, I got that from a lady in Houston, Texas. They're laser cut wood pieces. They're real thin. I paint them and do them all up, paint their eyes, pop them in, get them all cute. He's a cute and cuddly bad guy. He's just a baby. He hasn't got his teeth yet. So, you know, I love these. I did some, Heidi got a Sam bear. I did from like the trick or treat, hang on, I'm sorry, my right here. This is a big one. I don't have a bear with me, but Sam from Trick or Treat.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love it. Chad, dude, come on, man. I'm telling you, bro. This is your kind of crocheter, man.
It's like Sam needs a bunch dropping.
My late mother used to crochet and make, they look like sock monkeys, but they're crocheted. And she made me one that was a zombie sock monkey. I love these. They're excellent.
She grabs the zombie cow. Dude, I'm telling
Yes.
you, man.
I'm all over the. I also make cute little turtles.
Cute little wait, let us.
Oh my gosh.
Turtle fans. Adorable.
For everybody who's not
Adorable.
as demented as myself.
I'm all over the
Oh.
place. A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. And I got, let's see, here you go. I got, these guys are on my,
Oh my
I
gosh.
love those.
He's
In a
surprise.
frog costume. A pig in a frog costume, y'all. Come on.
Little nerdy.
Tell me that's not dope. A pig in a
is
frog
cool.
costume. Wait, go back to the pig. The pig in the frog costume. Yes. Oh my goodness. I love it. Absolutely love it. I love it.
Art for Autism says, do you have any with a long beard? Possibly an alien? Whatever you're talking about, Art for Autism.
Yo.
I have never done anything with a long beard except for a couple of gnomes here and there. Those are always a ride. I have, I said my big one's been a lot of these, and then my bread and butter that got me going was, of course, the chicken hats. Somebody at what was it, the Whispering River Rescue up in Western New York. They rescue a lot of larger farm animals. They ordered 10 of these, and that was the beginning of it. They saw that comedian on TikTok, and they said, "Oh, we got to have these. They're fun. They're goofy. Animal rescue is heartbreaking, is hard, and they needed to laugh." So you guys see me wear these things. They're goofy. They're ridiculous. You can't not. I mean,
I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
When
I
is
do
the demented chicken
car
come?
with
Chad
me.
needs one that's like demented.
He needs a zombie chicken.
Ezra, welcome in, dude.
Moose is asking about a fox and a moose. If you have a fox and a moose.
I don't have anything now. I have a moose pattern. I have a fox pattern. I haven't made them yet. I have lots of zombie chicken. I know. I've got all kinds of oddballs, but
Zombie
yeah,
chicken hat. Ezra.
There you go.
Dude,
Oh,
I love those.
I love that.
And she makes hats that look similar to that too. That like go in actual.
awesome.
I did. I matched the pattern. I shrunk the hat to something small for this guy, but it's the same hat as these ones. This one's
Check this out, dude. Chad, come on, man.
That is
Look
killer.
at the twisty thing on the top. Look at the
That is
twisty top.
killer. I know.
there you go.
Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Bundles. This one's boy
Man.
girl. It's gender neutral. I kind of went with the Mothman theme
I
for
love
it.
it.
I love hats. I can't help
Me
myself.
too.
I
Me
love
too.
it.
Here you go, Chad. Here we go.
That dude. Oh, isn't that a
Oh, wow.
Printer on TikTok, and he made this the will to create. He makes 3D prints, and this glows in the dark, so you'll see his face glow. I have mushrooms on the side.
that is amazing.
That is
On it. This
cool.
one's a little bit heavier because the chains add, but it's also more of a stout hat, so it holds a ripple shape easy. But again,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
one of those things. It's not. They're not for everybody. It's weird.
That's the dopest crocheted hat I've ever seen. I'm
Oh
telling
yeah,
you.
we
That
do
is-
a Nightmare Before Christmas one. Same
Yeah.
thing. You, then help me. What is it? You put up there?
What's up, Ezra?
But oh yeah, we get it all. And then the one that just got me the most attention from my little fangirl problem is, excuse me, I'm gonna step in front of this real quick.
Thank you, Ezra.
Thank you, Ezra.
Yo,
Thank you,
look
dude.
at, I haven't seen that.
Appreciate
Look at
you.
that. Thank you, Ezra.
This one is going to
Wow.
really, really wanted something like it, but it's just it's got the dangles. They wanted those, so I added those.
That's trippy.
It's just a hat.
Mushroom hat.
This is the small one.
It's
Get bigger.
amazing.
And then I'm going to combine 2 different hats where there's
Wow.
it turns into one of the mushroom caps. I'm all over the place. I do all of it. I get bored and it gives me something to do. And this is why I don't have time or money to do anything else like, smoke
It's
anymore.
amazing. It's
I
amazing.
can't afford it. I spend all my money on
Hey Chad, I know you got.
Sure.
If you got a dip, man. Talk to us, man. Don't let us hold you too long.
No, I get
Yeah, I'm
I know
gonna
you
dip
got
here in a
some
second. I
flexibility.
want to look. I want to look at some more art. Yeah, I got a couple minutes. I want to see if there's any more art coming
you.
out.
Michael Myers
Yes.
bunny.
Twinkle.
I went with a bunny
Oh
on bear.
yes.
He's holding a knife.
Bear form. I ordered more of these too, and I'm also going to do a ghost face one.
Is it a murder bunny? Is that a murder bunny like from?
Murder bunny.
From,
Yeah. Michael Myers murder bunny. I was like, yep, he's my bunny left. I did a drop of bunnies and I sold Sam bunnies. I did a Jason bunny. I did a zombie bunny, a Mothman bunny. They like the
Monty
bunny.
Python? You done a Monty Python bunny yet?
Oh,
The
not
murder
yet.
bunny.
Listen, it's always
The
something
murdered bunny.
keeps me busy. Keeps me busy. That's sad. You having a hard time?
Oh,
So, Chad, you're not
the
into
murder
kind
bunny.
of- He's not. He doesn't like
I'm sorry.
the. You don't like.
Oh, he
this
loves
kind
it.
of- It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
really.
Oh yeah, no horror stuff for me at all. I love it.
I'm an 80s and 90s kid. I grew up with all the typical cliche horror characters, and I love pulling from that. And I know like everybody, there are a couple people talking about too the Nightmare Before Christmas is a big one. The twist hat that I showed there, the one that's the Jason, or like this one. There's a pattern out there. Well, it's just a color. But you do the same thing and you do it as the lady. Oh, I'm not real good with that show. The girls pattern, and then you drop this. The Freddy bear. Oh, you're killing me. Now the Freddy bear, I am wanting to make a Freddy Krueger bear, but I'm stuck. So I'm gonna have to reach out on TikTok or other platforms, because I have never felted into yarn, and I'm going to try, because his scarring on his face is so detailed. I think it's necessary, so I picked up all the yarn I need.
Oh.
Picked up a felter, and I'm gonna practice on a square, and I need to learn how to do it. It's gonna be a ride. It's gonna be a ride. But what's all the horror characters without a Freddy? I need a Freddy. I gotta do Freddy.
Gotta do Freddy.
Gotta do Freddy.
Yeah.
If you're in the chat,
and Leatherface
please.
and Pinhead.
Oh yeah. No.
Pinhead.
Yeah.
If
One
you're
of
in the
girls
chat,
did a
please
Pinhead
follow
girl.
Techie the Kid. I'm sorry to interrupt you. While
No,
we
yes,
have,
please.
follow Techie. Techie's trying to build his account back up. So
Oh, yeah.
please follow Techie the Kid.
He
Anybody
needs
in the chat?
like 40 more guys.
He's a friend of ours. So
If you guys
please
get
give
him
a
enough
follow.
followers, I'll try to get him in the window.
He's fantastic.
Yeah,
Everything-
Techie's amazing. Yeah, we want
Yes,
to
he is.
definitely. So
Yes.
absolutely. We can even do some content for him if we need to get him up there,
Okay.
Chad. Whatever we need to do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's get it. He has less than 40 to go, and he can go live. And when he does, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, dude, come over and be in the window." So
Thanks,
if you guys want to
Moose.
see
Yeah,
his
let's
work
get
in
him
the
there,
window,
y'all.
I bet he would come
Let's
onto
get
the
him there.
window.
He's a good
Yeah.
dude.
Okay,
We like
before I
Techie.
go, Chris, because my kid, I gotta go put her to bed. It's our thing. I put her to bed every night. We have a whole ritual that we go through. It's what I do. So please don't think rude of me. But is there any more cool horror art you're gonna show off so I don't miss it?
You're not missing
I don't
anything.
wanna, get off of here
Sure,
and-
but I'll do lives. Yeah, the rest of it. These are the most interesting. The bears are my best thing. The bunny. These are my best. The cow. I'll have more coming.
I love it.
I'm derailed. Now I'm making a couple of hats real quick. As soon as I've
And
tallied these out, I'm going to go back to the bears.
a Chad Rev art head with the beard and all that, or a Rick the Muse. You could do all kinds of stuff now.
Oh,
you could
Rick-
get on. You
I
could
know,
get in.
Rick
The, you could.
tried
You
to
could.
tell me, he's like, oh, you should try to do that. The beards are the hard part for me. 'Cause you have to-
Especially
Oh.
as much. He still has a little bit of dark in his beard. Like mine's
Yeah.
almost white, but
Yeah.
he's still
You
got
know,
that
if you
stripe
can-
down the middle, so you're gonna have to sort that out.
A bearded.
Yeah, and if you can get, if you can figure out a pattern for Rick the Muse, all you have to do to make mine is just make it a little more handsome.
And put a goat body on it. Just a goat body with a rev head on it. I love it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love
Too
it.
funny.
Nope, like I said, grabbed all my main stuff, the most important stuff. The rest of it's just typical of that.
If someone wanted to do a commission, do you do that?
It depends on what it is. I'm open to a lot of conversations. You can always reach me out if you're a friend on here. If you don't follow me and I don't follow you, you can't talk to me on here because I have it shut down. There's other ways I'll talk to you too if I need to, but it depends. Some of the stuff I already do. I have a stacked. Sorry, I guess I fibbed. One last thing. I have a stacked pumpkin set, for instance. I do. These can be any color. They can be Halloween. They can be fall. This is not.
That's so dope. That's so cool.
I just sent one up to New York that'll be leaving in the morning for there, and those are commissioned. Those are whatever you're looking for. The chicken hats are commissioned. I make them to order because it depends on what you want. I don't just have a bunch sitting around. I have one I keep on hand.
She does do pumpkins.
Pumpkin.
Absolutely,
Yes,
Kira. You got to
pumpkins.
check out her pumpkins. They're cool.
Yeah,
Actually.
I do my pumpkins. Like I said, you can do Halloween themed. I've done big ones, small ones. This
Yes.
something you really want.
Hold up, Kira says.
They're so
I can't
awesome.
do everything, but there's quite a bit I can. It just depends.
The spider. I love it.
Hell yeah.
So
I don't
hit you in
have-
the DMs, but they got to either be a friend with you to be able to DM you. I was able to DM with you, so you at least hadn't blocked me yet.
No, I've got all you guys there. Oh yeah. No, it's just reach out if there's something I don't have. Other than that, kind of waiting to see what I pull out. Give me 30 days is all I'm asking. 30 days and I'll be having a bunch. I'm going to be dropping a bunch of different stuff. I'm going to pound out. Like I
Nice.
said, I'm on a horror kick because of Halloween coming. I love Halloween. I mean, I have 3 skeletons hanging out in my office. They live in there with me. One's in a cage. That's my decorations. I mean,
I'm telling you, dude,
Yes,
this is your people.
always
Chad.
Halloween around me.
I
Yes.
do. I mean, I can do
It's a
the
song
cute
of my people.
I don't make bucket hats. Look at there. I got a pretty little bucket hat. I can do cute, but I like my creepy better.
But the creepy is your thing. I think.
Creepy's my thing.
Chad, did you know about the creepy man? Did you know that she made creepy crochet?
I knew she had, but I didn't know to the extent. And
Gotcha.
oh my gosh,
Gotcha.
I like it a lot.
It's,
I like it a
It's
lot.
creepy.
All the new. I said I love the hats. I like the creepy hats. I love Halloween hats. And then I'm also looking at doing. Heidi did a few of them. Is I want to try doing. There's a hood that you can do. It's Nightmare Before Christmas. Heidi, help me out with what it's called. The Oogie. Is it Oogie Boogie hood?
Oogie
The guy
boogie.
that eats the worms or he has the
Oogie
bugs
Boogie.
coming out of his mouth. Yeah, the dice
Yeah,
guy.
that's his stuffing.
I've
His
never
insects.
seen Nightmare Before Christmas.
I don't. I'm
Even
not.
though I have that, I've never seen it.
Not one of my most popular. There you go. It's Oogie
I haven't
Boogie.
seen any of the Freddy movies.
So it's a burlap chaplet. It's Oogie Boogie. I'm gonna be trying one of those. I do have the pattern for it. I've also got a Sam hat with a lollipop sucker, so I'm gonna try those. I'm gonna have it all. Everything's going up. Everything I've got, I'm willing to sell. Anything you're interested in, I'm willing to look. The hardest thing is I have to find a pattern. That's why I was always skeptical. I'm not I hesitate to say I'm an artist. I'm a mimic. I can follow a pattern. I can alter a pattern within limits, but I'm not a pattern writer. So if I can find it, I can 9 times out of 10 make it. It's just I gotta find it.
Right on.
Maybe on
Right
page.
on.
I love it. Yep, I'm bringing it all back.
Goopy.
now. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't hesitate. You're never wrong to talk to me. You're never wrong to ask. If I can't, I can't. I may know somebody who does, and I have no problem pointing you in somebody's direction, especially if they're doing drops. I usually know who's dropping what. and I'm willing to try quite a bit. I never thought about making one of these hats. Again, threw it out there. I found a pattern while we were talking, and said, let's do it. Why not? Something different.
Yes, Kira. Yes, Kira. If Kira says you're an artist, then like she would know. Like I don't have the credentials. Kira's got the credentials. She says you're an artist. You got to be an artist.
Say,
I'm
she
sorry.
has the credentials.
It's official now.
She is the. She's the last word. She yeah.
I believe you. I do, and I get it. I mean, some of it has to be you that goes into each one of these. I know. I guess I'm old when I think of it.
She got on me too. She got on me too.
I always think of painters or sculptors or metal benders or wood. You know what I mean? Like that's. I'm like, well, I mean, I make a stuffed animal with a pattern, and I'm like, is that really artistry? But then I see what you say, because I mean, I
Yes.
add my things. I add mine to it. I add my touches are in there, and like you said, you can do it too, but it's not going to be the exact same as mine. There's energy.
You're a fiber artist. I love that. You're a fiber artist.
Yes. Yep. Nope. Heidi said that before. Yep. We consider ourselves fiber artists.
Beautiful.
People who works with a different fiber. It's what we do. It's different. We love it. Don't hesitate. Let's reach out. If there's something you really want in costume wise, it may take time, but I'm honest. I won't lie to you. If I can't do it, I can't do it. If I can, I can. And I usually touch base if it's new. I might get on your nerves if it's new, because I'll double check everything. Are you sure? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you want to send it back? I worry.
Chad, please tell the little one.
Yes, sir.
Much love, and hope she feels better real soon.
Aww.
When you
I
took
will.
her in.
I definitely
I'm sorry,
will.
I'm sorry she got hurt like
I'm
that.
about to go do that.
And
Yeah, she'll be all right. I just keep doing the daddy thing.
yeah, they bounce back pretty good, man. From what I understand.
Oh yeah.
We hit 14 years and we're still going. That counts. I'm not magical.
There you go.
Made it to 14. That's something.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah,
Kris-
Enigma, she went to the trampoline park for a birthday party, and a big kid landed on her ankle. They got it in a splint. She's going to a doctor to look at it on Friday. They don't think it's broken, but it is swollen, and it sucks. But I'm spoiling the living out of her, so it's okay.
Well, that's what you need. Sometimes you just need your dad to make it better.
You're absolutely right,
Yep.
too, Techie. A lot of artists that don't get their fair share credit. Yes. Chad,
Yeah.
if it's okay, can we see your piece of art, or is it too late?
Sure. No, you're good. Good, you're good. So I got enough
I don't
lighting
know
to
if you've
show
seen
y'all.
this yet, Kris, but check
No,
this
I
out.
haven't seen it done. Is it done?
I haven't seen it, and it was killing me sitting there
It
behind him
is
this
so-
whole time, not to
so-
say
so-
anything.
so
It's about to
very
drive me
close.
crazy.
It is so very close.
Holy cow.
Oh
I
my
have
God,
to do
dude!
just
Dude!
a couple of.
Holy shit!
I got just a couple of teeny tiny spots to fix on this side. I spent hours last night out here until about 4 something in the morning, working on little finished details. I'm gonna do the same thing probably tonight on the other side. No, that's not stained Enigma. That's the color of
No.
that beautiful mahogany.
That's the wood, yo! Oh my God,
Yeah.
dude!
Look at
I was
that.
polishing
working on all
work.
these little teeny tiny details with polish, and a waxy polish on top of that tend to be almost insanely impossible when you're trying to get into these little bitty spots. As you can see, you can't even see it here, but I've got like a couple of teeny tiny spots in here to fix. There, you see those little bitty tiny things? That's the kind of stuff I'm doing right now, is fixing all this.
Oh yeah,
So-
that looks just terrible, Chad. Can't believe you would leave something like that in. I can't even see what you're
Well,
looking at, dude.
I'm
I have no
a
idea
little
what you're just pointing
OCD.
at.
I'm a little
God,
OCD.
Look at that face, y'all. Unbelievable, bro. Piece of mahogany from Brazil, cut in like
Yes.
72. Gosh, that's amazing, bro.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. I can't hardly see it because the way I have to hold my camera right now to show you guys.
It looks
yeah.
amazing, homie.
Thank you very much. I think everybody's seen it, and this is the side I'll be working on tonight. If you can see it with my lighting the way that it is, somewhat.
Yes. She is to your, her belly is to your right, and just to give people a perspective there. Oh,
There we go.
man. So there she is. You saw her face on the other side, and there she is, ascending, dude.
Wow.
You have outdone yourself, sir.
Thank you, sir. You helped inspire this piece a whole lot, so I appreciate you.
See, now that's
Oh,
our.
man, that is, yeah, that's
My
some
mouth
next
just
level.
hanging open.
Yeah, that's artistry for
Wow.
real.
Oh, thank you, guys.
I could
See
spend the
all this
rest of my life with a whole shop full of Brazilian mahogany, and I'm not going to do that. That's not going to happen. God.
Thank you guys so very much. So yeah, stuff I'm working on tonight. I don't know. Can you see this like dusty stuff that raises up in that finish when it first goes? I'll
Yeah.
be going through and I'll be fixing that. Just a bunch of little stuff like that are, you know, I mean, you can kind of see it like here as well.
Oh, the
But I'll be
grain,
going
though,
through-
man. Oh,
Yeah, the grain popped gorgeous. Look at that.
Wow. Yeah, I like what Moose said.
Yeah.
That's a craft right there. Absolutely. That's what I would call it. That absolutely. That's
Thank you so much, guys.
that's a phenomenal ability you've got.
Thank you. I didn't know I had it a year ago. So here we are, though, right?
Here we are, sir. Man, look at that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude. With the third eye, the whole
That was
thing,
one of my
man.
favorite parts there.
Unbelievable. And y'all, when we were in a video call, doing like I was saying earlier, having one of our conversations, and I held up a block of wood, and he described that image to me.
Both sides.
I'm just saying, the dude dreamed it up in his gourd and then made it happen.
Well, I just saw it, and that usually is not how it works for me. But I saw it as soon as you showed me this block of mahogany. I knew what was there at that point.
Now I'm certain I hate you. Little
Ah,
Doc Holiday for you.
Hey Chad, Techie wants to know what's your favorite wood to work with. Do you have one?
Give him answer B,
Well-
Chad. Don't tell him the first one.
Ew.
well, let's see here.
No, it's not an ooh. It's not. No, it's not an ew. No, it's not an ooh. Get your mind out of the gutter, Chris.
Oh my gosh, that's
Well,
funny.
that's where my head went. Don't act like y'all didn't too. Some of y'all did too.
Oh,
I bet.
jeez.
Not at all. That was
I
all
stepped
you,
in that.
Chris.
That's my
How
fault.
you
I did
said
that.
Not the
I did
first
that.
one, telling the second one. Of course, I was thinking in a.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the first one is Scarlet
Kira.
Oak. The other,
Yeah.
the one right next to it is Scarlet Oak, right there.
See, they did
Yeah.
too. I'm not the only pervert in here.
Well, I'm glad I could perv y'all out. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny. What?
It would get
That's true. It's true.
Oh man.
Oh man. To answer that question, you know, I'm not sure. I've only been carving just over a year. So I don't know. This mahogany has been pretty cool so far. I really like Scarlet Oak as well, but I mean, that's the most that I have experience with to speak on, I guess.
You're about to do a big chunk of maple, though, right? Like a 9-foot long maple tree. So you're about to have another experience.
Yeah, I'm going to knock this one out as soon as this one's done. And then when this one's finished, or at least close to it, I'll be doing a 9-foot maple. I did do I did a pumpkin around Halloween time in maple. So I mean I have worked with it. Wasn't my favorite, but I didn't like dislike it or anything. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a 9-foot tall maple, so I hope that I will like maple because I have a very big piece getting ready to come out of it. So yeah. And I saw something about you asking about bits. Hit me up. I'll show you and answer whatever questions you have about bits and burrs. I can even get you a discount.
He's got a chunk of cherry. He hasn't used the chunk of cherry yet. As far as I know, he's done a bone sculpture, a scarlet oak sculpture, a Brazilian mahogany sculpture, and I'm forgetting something here.
I started a willow wood wand.
Willow wood wand.
It's sitting on my desk
soft.
inside.
He immediately went to more difficult mediums.
Yeah, they're easier for some reason for me. I don't know why, but do I know what it's going to be yet? Kind of. We'll get to
Pamela, Chad is actually a Cuts-All representative. If you use Chad Rev, tell him what it is. But if you can actually go to Cuts-All and use his code and get a discount to buy the exact thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's Chad Rev, all caps, no spaces, and the coupon code, discount code, whatever it is. You put that there at the end, and it'll save you a few bucks, and it'll also help your boy. So, yeah, make sure to go check that out. Cuts-All, Kutzall. There you go.
Kat.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much, Kat.
Willow is very soft.
Yes. Very sought after in the wand world, from what I understand. And I have an awesome willow tree in my front yard. So when it gave up a branch, I picked it up and brought part of it in.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm going to work on this a little bit, here in just a little bit, actually. I'm going to go in and put my kid to bed. And then I'm probably going to come back out and do this.
Are you going to have a live flow state rolling tonight, sir? Is that what you're saying? Or are you just going to work on your stuff?
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about it.
All right. So you may be able to depends on
if I can get back out here at a decent time and actually get everything fired back up and going. So I got to feed my face, put my kid down, say goodnight to the wife, all the real world stuff.
Yes. I may actually do something tonight too, so we'll see what happens.
Cool.
I might lead into you and then go. I don't know. I just got stuff to get done. Brother, thank you for showing us your stuff. We appreciate it.
Love.
You're an amazing artist. Thank you for being an incredible co-host and an inspiration and a swell guy.
Much love, brother.
I don't even like you, man. I don't even like you.
I don't even like this mother. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
I'm getting out of here. I don't know if you're trying to sign off or carry on, but I got to go put my daughter to bed.
You're good.
Sir.
No, he's probably
Like I said
chomping.
before.
Later, bro. Right on, man.
gosh.
I'll catch up with you.
All right. Hey,
Appreciate
much
you,
love
homie.
to you. Thank you again. Chris,
Much love, brother.
thank you so much. Everybody in the chat, big, huge love. If you've written me a message and I haven't got back with you, my daughter's keeping me on my toes. I assure you I will get back to you. If I've forgotten something you're waiting for, hit me up, because I do that. So, again, excellent show. Chris, excellent job. Big love, y'all. See you very soon.
Hugs
Later,
and love.
See you in a bit. Chris, thank you so much for coming on, for chatting. I love this. I like doing some of these that are conversational. You know what I mean? I think from the feedback that I've got, some folks actually sometimes take. You know how everybody learns differently? Sometimes people would rather just have like information presented to them. Some other people would rather see it kind of happen in a conversation. Some other people, would like it other formats. So we try to mix it up a little bit and try to, give different ways of presenting information.
Yeah,
And
well, it's a little. I'm a bit of an oddball anyway. Like I said, I sell what I do. I have no problem with it, but I'm not looking to make a huge business and a huge go of it. I really love doing it. I really find a lot of enjoyment in it. So it's, for me, it's more the how I got there, what I'm doing. I do it at my pace. It's not mass production. I don't want to lose myself in it. So
Right.
I lose myself in it, but not in a negative way. So I
Right.
love it. Thank you, Al, so much, though. And thanks for chatting with me. I absolutely adore you guys anyway. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like I got to know you a bit more, which is always nice.
Yes, I feel the same way. And it was our conversation yesterday was fantastic. Learning a little bit more about what motivates you and kind of why you do what you do and how you do it. And I think a lot of people could learn. I do. I learn from you. Just your example of trying to have that. I call it just a positive mindset, and we all kind of work towards it. It's all something that takes effort, and I think that's why some people don't do it, is because it's not the easy route, right?
No, it's not.
It's a little harder to try to take that positive mindset and turn negatives into positive and not worry about the drama or whatever. And I have a lot of respect for you for the way you navigate that world, and I take inspiration from you, and I try to follow your lead in some instances, believe it or not. And I think it's really cool that you were willing to come on and talk with me.
Absolutely. No, just keep surrounding ourselves with a good, positive community. Like you said last night, sometimes you got to find your tribe. You just got to find it. The tribe I want is kind. And it's going to be an influx of people. They come in, they go, they come, they go. And that's all right.
Right. That's
kind.
totally all right.
I don't know. I love it. I don't know. I consider myself blessed. I'm glad I've gotten to know everybody a bit and get to keep knowing everybody. I don't know. Thank you guys. And thanks for always being nice, too.
Yeah. Well, we try. Chad's much nicer than I am, but
No, you don't have to. You choose. The choice.
I was kidding about your competition thing earlier. That was mine.
I love it. I love it.
Well, thank everyone for hanging out with us. Thank y'all for coming in and commenting and being part of the conversation, being part of the community. And that's what we're trying to do, is build a community of folks that are all just trying to better themselves, whatever that is, whatever you're trying to do. If it's positive, we're trying to row with you. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you have my number. You reach out to me any time of day or night.
Well, I'm going to have to, because I got your stuff in the works, bud. So you're going to have to talk to me at least one more time in your life before you can let me go.
I don't think we'll be able to let you go. We're going to have to hold on to you.
I try. I definitely try to be a good light. If nothing else, it's helpful to have people that remind you why you are and where you are, Sometimes it's good, that reminder. It's like a lighthouse. You're a lighthouse, People are for me, and I want to be for people when I'm able to be that lighthouse.
I love that analogy. For me, it's a buoy. It's a a lit buoy in a channel,
works too.
and a lighthouse. Growing up on the coast, those are meaningful references. They're important reference points. I can remember being with my grandfather. One of the first things I learned, which was north on the compass, because he would take me out in the boat, and we were in the Gulf, and he'd say, in the worst case scenario, if anything goes wrong and something happens to me, put the N on this line and go until you hit the shore.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, put the N on the line and go until you hit the shore, I guess is what you're saying.
Absolutely. I don't know. Thanks for doing this, though. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kris. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch, of course. Everybody, please follow. And Techie, make sure to follow Techie. And send me a DM, Techie, just to remind me, man. And I'll make sure we'll get you enough follows, man, before the show Thursday, for sure. We'll get you there.
All right. All right, guys. Hugs and love. I'm going to jump. I know he's about to end it anyway, but I'll talk to everybody soon. Reach out if you need anything. Hugs and love.
Bye, everybody. Appreciate y'all. You can find her on her Etsy page. You can find her in my bio. And thank y'all for being amazing, every one of you. Much love to you. Thank all of you. Potentially be on later, not for sure, but check and see. Turn your notifications on. Thank y'all. Much love to y'all. Have a great night. Twinkle, twinkle.